Just want to encourage everyone to go out there and catch them again. Hope everybody has a great day on the water. The sun's shining, a little bit of wind, but it's going to be a beautiful day. Beautiful day.
All the way up to the cone, all the way up to the cone.
Reese and Quinn Gillespie, you guys go ahead in the blue boat. You guys are ready to go. You guys have a great day.
Bass fishing means to me that it's pretty much my life. I mean, every day I'm thinking about bass fishing.
I've been fishing since I was a kid, trying to just learn more about it and always trying to be the best I can fishing and just have a passion for it.
I started fishing as far back as I could remember. My grandpa taught me how to on his lake that he has, and so it means a lot to me that I've been able to continue to fish through high school, and I hope to be able to continue to fish through college because it's my biggest passion that I have. This event means to me that there's a chance for your school to have a state championship. You don't have to be the biggest school to win this thing.
You know, the high school fishing community is really a unique group. They're very, very positive about the sport.
Illinois is not necessarily known as a bass fishing hotbed compared to some of the southeastern states and some of the southern states.
I think we were out on the cutting edge because Illinois became the first state to have a state high school bass fishing tournament ran through the high school association.
6 pound even, 6 even yesterday. Good one.
So I'm the Senior Director of Tournament Operations for college fishing, high school fishing, and the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals for Major League Fishing. We've been with IHSA from the very beginning, from day one of their high school program, and we help them every single year with the state championship. If you want to continue to grow this great sport that we have, and the one way we try to do it is provide more opportunity for them. I mean, that's a big deal.
314, that's almost, let's just round it up. You guys want to round it up? Let's call it a 4-pounder. Yeah, we'll call it a 4-pounder. There you go, good looking fish.
It's grown immensely. It's grown so much that they now, through the advisory committees, made recommendations to look at going to the regional, sectional format, just like any other sport.
What'd you catch that one on?
Got on Texas rig.
Got it, Texas rig, all right.
I've been involved with the bass tournament since inception, and it's a huge, huge event that everyone looks forward to. I mean, it's an economic driver for the area.
I'm going to bring up on stage the winner of the Big Bass Award for this year from Athens High School. Come on up, Athens.
It was a 6-pound, 3-ounce bass. I was pulling it through and thought I got caught on a log I was pulling it next to, and next thing I know, my line starts diving down to the bottom, and I kind of thought it was a catfish at first, and then once we got it up and saw the green head, we were all really excited that it was a big old bass.
This is a crowning moment. We're going to crown a champion. Yesterday, they had 10 pounds and 10 ounces. Today, they got 6 pounds and 3 ounces for 16 pounds and 13 ounces. Your state champion right here, Tuatopoulos.
Feels pretty good. So we don't have a state championship at our school yet, so it's pretty cool to win one.
Championship means a lot to me, considering the fact that I had to beat a lot of people to get here. A lot of people in our school that wanted to be here right now, but didn't get the opportunity to, so it means a lot to me.
Just to see the kids catch fish, it's an excitement, it's a rush, and especially if it's a nice fish. It's fun to watch a kid catch a fish.
It was a no-brainer to get these kids out here, see their enthusiasm, and see their passion, and see them start making their way through this sport that I care so much about.
I mean, it's very critical to start these kids young because it is an opportunity of a lifetime. A lot of these kids go to school and they play a lot of other sports, but when they get out of school, that sport's done. Fishing, they could fish the rest of their lives.
One of the great things I think that I was involved in was the starting of this tournament right here, which we started it in 2009 was the first year we had our tournament here. It's been awesome ever since.
What a way to spend an afternoon winning a bass fishing state championship. We're through one football championship here on the IHSA TV network. Another one to come, 2A championship game between Wilmington and Athens. We get you ready for that one when we come back.
In life, things aren't scripted.
If you're an athlete, we need people like you and translate those skills to officiating.
You can get a lot out of it. It happens in every town, in every game.
We never have a perfect game, but the rewards always outweigh the negativities.
Every year, the Wiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Wiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
Welcome back. That is Hancock Stadium, the site of our championship games today. 3 more games to be played on this Friday. We already have 1 champion already in the books. 1 trophy already held out there, another one to come. But, of course, you can't play the game without officials. They are an integral part of high school sports, without whom games would not be possible. We take a look behind the scenes of one crew led by John Hodell, sharing their experience on the field and the commitment they have for high school athletics and their communities.
I was a high school basketball and baseball player, and I also played some college basketball. And after I was done playing, I still wanted to be part of the game. It's our crew chief, John, who got me into it. I kind of started since then about 20 years ago.
This will be my 50th year this year. I just got an award for my 50 years of service down at the IHSA this past summer.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
See you again. Yeah.
Have any special plays or anything else you want?
We do.
Nick, how you doing? I had your game last year against St. Pat's.
Yeah.
If there's a problem or an issue, one of your captains will step forward with the plays, and if we say somebody's stepping out of line, we'll ask you to take care of it, okay?
No problem.
The reason we're here is to give you both a fair opportunity to win the ball game. We got a nice night for football, and everything's pretty good. We're all set, ready to go. Who's going to call it for me? Call it? He said heads. It is a tail. White is going to receive. Which way is this? I don't know. I think it's south. Have a great ball game. Good luck to everybody. Let's be the best team on the field. All right, let's go. Ready? Best team in the field.
Let's rock and roll, guys.
Illegal motion. Whoa. Repeat first down.
You're young. I'm not young. Here we go.
Guys, don't push them in the back. Don't push them in the back.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. They're going old school with this music. They're probably playing this in Bulls games in 1998. There's so many people out there that love sports. Hopefully things like this can spread the word about how cool fishing is, and it's part of this bigger community, and you get to still be part of the game.
Second out. You're covering the tight end, and he can't go downfield.
Easy, easy, easy. Easy, easy.
Tell me, watch number 56 blue or number 72 blue.
Old defense. What's going on?
I know it's frustrating. Don't do that. Don't throw it into his helmet. It's nice when you see a kid who's a sophomore and you see him 2 years later and he still remembers you and remembers you that you were fair and considerate during the game. If you develop a little respect out here as an official, that's always what you want to do. We'll give you another 25 if you want to rehuddle. Watch your clock. Watch your clock. Pass interference. We're on the 37. We're going to the 22.
Hey, nice job, buddy.
Have a good night, sir. You guys, good game, man. Go get them next week.
I just love the other officials, the other coaches, players. You kind of build a relationship with all of them. It's good to be part of a bigger community.
It's just fun being out there, just to love the game and the love of sports and being around people and being part of the game. That's it. Let's go.
Illinois is looking for more high school officials, so there is ample opportunity to make an impact right away. Visit ihsa.org/officials and start your application process now. The IHSA is looking for individuals of all ages who want a great opportunity to give back to your community. I haven't done it so myself, but after seeing that packet, it looks like a lot of fun out there to really be the officials of any football game.
Yeah, it's a calling. Some of the funniest moments I have in high school football are involving referees, and they love the sport. They're fans. They're passionate, and guys like John Hodel, God bless them, because 50 years, it's a tough job. It can be very frustrating at times, and these guys get, they're human beings. They make mistakes too. Believe it or not, we all actually make mistakes, and we need to keep these guys around. We need to get younger people around and get involved in this sport, and it's becoming harder and harder, and the group of referees are getting older and older, and that's not a good thing. We want to have a nice pool of refs to choose from. The younger guys, they need to come in and get involved because, let's face it, the game is getting faster. The game is speeding along. So, again, I think that IHSA is doing some really nice things. I know that we're starting to see more and more referee classes being offered at the high school level, which I think is a great idea. Try to get guys in young. But, you might not be the greatest player in the world, or maybe you don't even play, but you love the sport. You're looking for a way to get involved. This is a great way to get involved, and you're going to work right away. You're not going to sit on the sidelines very long. You're going to get involved right away, and I guarantee you once you do, I think you'll find something you really like and maybe even love.
Yeah, and it's a great way to be around the game, too. You're at a bunch of games throughout the entire year, and I think John kind of put it best is when you have that mutual respect out there between the players, the coaches, the other officials, I think it creates a very nice environment for fans, players, coaches, referees to all enjoy a high school football game.
It does, and remember, these guys are human. They have families, and as I said, they make mistakes, but you know what? They're trying their best out there, and it's a hard job. I mean, they're going to hear it from people. It's unfortunately in this day and age with social media and everything else, they're going to hear it. Go easy on them. Give them a break. Give them all the help they can get. And again, we need to keep these guys around. Otherwise, we don't have games.
Yes, the most thankless job of the sport is the official out there.
No question.
Just trying to do jobs. Make sure everything stays fair out there, and we appreciate all that they do for the game of football. Of course, 3 more games to come here in the state championships at Hancock Stadium over at Illinois State University. Next up will be 2A, Wilmington and Athens. Then, of course, Byron and Mount Carmel step on the field around 4. And to close out the day, Rochester and St. Lawrence in the 4A championship. Of course, Wilmington and Athens, that's going to be our next game there. One team in Wilmington trying to win their 3rd. Athens trying to win for the first time.
Yeah, and again, we have some interesting matchups for sure. We just saw one upset. Maybe we can see another one in the next game. We'll see. But again, just an interesting matchup. If you like double wing football, don't go anywhere because we're going to have more coming for you. But then you think about the last game, and we saw a little bit of the passing game playing. I think Athens a little more pass-friendly than Wilmington. They both are capable of throwing it. Maybe we see a twist or two like that in this upcoming game. So it should be fun, interesting matchup for sure.
We'll see how much the weather kind of plays a factor. It was a little bit breezy in that 1A game, but still there was some passing there from Camp Point Central. We'll see how much they try to utilize that. A quick thought on those final two games that we have coming up later. Anything stick out from either one of those matches?
Well, the 3A game, I said it's the Flintstones versus the Jetsons. And that's exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be old school power football with Byron, and they run it to perfection. I mean, they run that option outstanding, so they're very good at it. Again, Mount Carmel, throw it, spread. Blaine Sisson, the quarterback, and again, it's a lot of up and down, a lot of high scoring there. And then the final game, it's St. Lawrence, a team that has just endured. They have endured all season long. They hang around. They're that person that'll never leave your home. They'll hang around and hang around and hang around. They get their opportunity late in games. They close. They know how to close games. Rochester, what can you say? Multiple state title champs. Derek Leonard, one of the top young coaches in the state of Illinois. Wide open offense. Should be really a couple of interesting 2-3 games coming up here.
Yeah, Rochester, a staple of championship weekend. Already have 8 championships under their belt. So they're coming up later to close out the day here. But 2A coming up next, Wilmington and Athens. They'll be stepping on the field to get our second championship game underway here. We'll see just how exciting that contest is. It's got a lot to match up. While it wasn't a high scoring in that first game, it was certainly back and forth, and we'll see if the 2A game can match up with that one. More to come here on our post-game show. We'll get you ready for that 2A championship game between Wilmington and Athens when we come back.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $1.99. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
The Black Friday credit event is on at 94 Nissan of South Holland. Everyone drives, regardless of credit. Had issues in the past? Bad credit? No credit? Get exclusive Black Friday finance rates to get back on track and driving today. We'll create a plan to boost your credit and help you get approved. When others say no, 94 Nissan says yes, we can. Plus, choose from over 200 new Nissans marked with our Black Friday special savings. Everyone drives at 94 Nissan of South Holland. Get your Black Friday financing at 94nissan.com.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $1.99. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV Network. You see Hancock Stadium there. Both teams on the field getting ready for our second championship game of the day. Wilmington taking on Athens in that matchup. And we've talked about it a couple times already, but Wilmington trying to win their third championship, one in 2014 and 2021. Athens, they never made it here, but they are finally here on the biggest stage in high school football.
And it's great. I mean, it's the best of both, really. You have Wilmington, again, small town, absolutely lives and dies for high school football. Jeff Reins, veteran head coach of that program, has done a terrific job continuing to get them there. Look, people don't realize they had to beat 3 undefeated teams just to get here. Not to win it, just to get here. That is pretty much unprecedented. I can't remember another team that had 3 undefeated teams to go through to get there. Athens, first time down here. You know they're going to turn out. Someone turned the lights off in Athens when they came down. They're all going to be there. Again, you love to see the first-time teams come down, and hopefully, like we talked about, you get to look around and see the crowd in the stands. You get that out of your system, then you go and play football. We'll see how that happens. But again, 2 very, very interesting programs, both different paths, but here they are, and let's go.
And I imagine for Athens, as you said, the entire town will probably be here for this one. It's been a long time since they've had any team play for a championship in this contest. So it's going to be a big opportunity for them to kind of get out there on the field. And now we saw similar styles in that first game. Do you think it's going to be something like that, a clash of sort of styles of similar styles?
It is. You're going to notice the difference in offenses as far as Wilmington. Wilmington will come out and line an incredibly tight offensive line group. Really no space in between the line stints at all. So they're very uptight. It's almost like a wedge coming at you when they're running the football. Athens a little more wide open. They have a couple of receivers, a slot and a wing, and they'll do things, as we mentioned, they're a little more pass friendly. So again, but philosophy-wise, very similar. Both option teams, they want to establish fullback first, then get the counter game going. But like we mentioned, Athens maybe a little more inclined to throw the ball if they need to or want to.
Yeah, those fans of running football are getting a treat in these first 2 games, that is for sure.
Sit down, get that turkey sandwich, and let's go. Let's watch them double wing.
Over 4,000 rushing yards for both sides coming into this game here today. So it's going to be a lot of stuff on the ground, see who can break some of the big runs. We saw that being the difference in the first game. Yeah. We'll see if that is the difference a little bit here in this second game. Do you think there'll be, we'll see if Athens kind of wins the toss or, if they actually start with the ball or not, but do you think there'll be some of that just if it were you, would you want to go just attack right away or try to kind of feel out for your kids?
You're only here one time this year. You can't come back. There's no redos. You come out. You saw what Camp Point Central did in the first game. They came out with everything. It took them a series or 2 to settle in. I'm expecting Athens to be that type of team where maybe a series or 2 to settle in, and then hopefully they'll get going and run their game and make it a ball game.
We will see what happens here in this 2A championship game. For Wilmington, there's their first time playing for one back since 2021. They won that championship. There's their second in school history. And as I've said several times, Athens getting here for the first time in their football history. 1923-24, that's the last time they played for a championship at all in their school's history. So it's a big, long time coming for them to get to this point.
How many playoff shirts do you think were sold in Athens over the last 2 weeks?
Oh, I think they're sold out. They've got some on order that are coming on the way. Some people are still waiting for theirs. They're going to have to improvise for today's game here. So it's going to be an exciting one for this contest here in the 2A championship game. Going to be a pretty exciting day. We'll send it out to the guys who are at Hancock Stadium who will take you through all the action. Matt Roderwald and Mark Lindo. Hey, guys.
All right, hey guys, Darius and Tim, thank you so much. And not so much the T-shirts, it's the sweatshirt business right now because we see a lot of those. And if you want to know if everyone's here, looking, yep, they're all here. The entire town is here for Athens. They won the coin toss and they're gonna take the ball out of the gate here. So we're gonna see that offense first.
Well, I think what they want to do is make a statement early on. I think they want to get their ground game going, their misdirection game going, and they'll mix in some passes as well. These 2 quarterbacks have combined for like 84 passes, so it won't be aerial, but we'll see the ground game early.
And we're gonna see a lot of Corey Craig early. Tell me what makes him so good in this offense that we see for Athens.
Corey Craig is a really special player. He's a fun one to watch. This guy's a standout on both sides of the football. At 5'8", 200, he can punish you. He has run for 1,684 yards and 28 touchdowns on the year and has a school record 56 career visits to the end zone. From his linebacker position, Matt, he's an excellent lateral movement, able to play from inside the box and help on the outside. He has 79 total tackles and a nose for the football. He is a good one and one to watch today.
And when you're talking about Wilmington, you're talking about the downhill runner and Kyle Farrell.
Kyle Farrell, an all-stater, 5'11", just a junior. He runs downhill, very patient. He has great vision when attacking. This guy's a special player who's run it for 2,056 yards on the ground, has 32 touchdowns on the year. He's also a demon on defense as well. He has 56 total tackles at the cornerback spot and 2 interceptions. Just one of Wilmington's many playmakers.
And one X factor of this one might be the kicking game with Reed Juster. We watched him work into this wind, and he's kicking it pretty comfortably through the uprights from about the 25 to 30-yard line on. So he's a weapon for Wilmington. You get into certain down and distance situations where you don't have to worry about it being 2-down territory or 4-down territory. That might be key in terms of getting some points on the board. So we'll see how this goes. It'll be interesting. Athens and Wilmington coming up next. We'll send it back to Darius and Tim.
Thank you, Matt and Mark. They kind of talked about some of those key guys there. And by the way, this is one of those color schemes I really like. Purple, we got white and green on the one side.
You're big on the uniforms and the scheme, huh?
Yeah. I love a good purple uniform
there you go.
For any team out there. So that would be pretty to look at the very least. Those 2 guys will kind of be the key there. Who do you think will be the one who emerges as the more of a beneficial factor for his team?
I mean, they're both huge. They both play both sides of the ball. You know, again, Kyle Farrell is just, as those guys mentioned, a downhill runner. I mean, he is just a load once he gets going. So, again, I think the guys did a great job of pointing out the key players. Again, you know I'm a line guy. I watch what goes on up front. And again, I think the matchups here, really not a ton of size difference from what I've been able to tell, but it's definitely something I'm going to watch really close in this game.
We will see if the 2A championship can match up to the 1A championship, whether it's a defensive battle or the offenses can kind of find their way. We'll have that kickoff for you coming up in a little bit. When we come back, we'll see you for kickoff in a little bit.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
Four seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. That is Hancock Stadium at Illinois State, the site of all of our championship games today and tomorrow. We saw the 1A champion already be crowned. 2A coming up next. Two teams in Wilmington and Athens who lost in the second round a year ago, and now they meet for the first time in the playoffs here in the championship game.
Well, again, let's get Athens wants to get the ball. Let them get the ball and get going here and get that first time down jitters out of the way and hopefully get into their game. And Wilmington, do what you've done all season long. Just come out and attack.
The long-awaited kickoff for the 2A game coming up in a little bit here. We will send it back to the field where Mark Lindo and Matt Rodewald will take you through all the action here in the 2A championship. Take it away, guys.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. And there's a lot of experience at the state level for Wilmington, a program with a pedigree. But for Athens being here the first time, you can feel the excitement of a community and a program experiencing the state level atmosphere.
Well earned, and I'm sure once they get that first series, first couple hits underneath, they'll be more than fine. They got too many playmakers to be held down.
It was quite the interesting road for Athens to get to the state championship game. We'll show you the road to normal. As you see, Southwestern right out of the gate, Redbud, and that Nashville game is key because of the late comeback that they had and then the miracle and prayer they had to hang on, and then they went and dominated Shelbyville on the road. So they've had two road games the last 2 weeks, so they haven't been at home in a while, and so another road type atmosphere as they come up to normal. About an hour from now, as you see Athens take the field for the first time in their road whites, and they look sharp and look good on the state level. Meanwhile, for Wilmington and their road to the state championship, their road to normal, they had to go through Tri-Valley, who beat them last year and ended up in the state championship game. They had to beat Seneca, who already beat them earlier in the season in week 1. And then they had to beat Maroa Forsyth, who has beaten Athens in the regular season, week 9. The latter three undefeated teams. Hard to believe you had to go through that many unbeaten teams to get here.
That Seneca win, really a brilliant win for them. As you see them taking the field, they avenged that week 1 loss. That catapulted them to this title game.
It's a team with experience against a team who's never done it before. The Athens Warriors are on the big stage for the first time in 100 years. It's Wilmington and Athens for our 2A title kickoff coming up next on the IHSA Television Network.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Country Financial. Find out why over 1 million families let us protect their lives and livelihoods. Visit countryfinancial.com.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and that care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
Every year, the Wiffles family celebrates the season the best way they know how. And every year, they add a little something new. After all this time, you'd think all that extra work put into every last detail would get old. Well, think again. Wiffles Hybrids. Season's greetings from our U.S. farm family to yours.
Welcome back to Hancock Stadium on the campus of Illinois State University. Matt Rodewald, Mark Lindo, and Casey Standahar with you as we get set for our Class 2A state championship game. Time for a Keys of the Game that are brought to you by Southern Illinois University Carbondale. Imagine the possibilities.
Hey, let's take a look at Athens first. They have to play physical football. They got to get out early and often, play with aggressiveness and physicality, and set a tone. Then they have to keep their eyes on the prize. Wilmington will run misdirection. Athens got to defensively keep their eyes and hold their gap responsibility. And for Wilmington, first down domination. Need to stay in front of the sticks, create second down and 5 situations for their offense, and control the clock, time of possession. That will allow them to keep the Athens offense on the boundary.
Those are our keys of the game. Time to send it down to the sideline as we say hello to Casey Standahar.
Matt, hello. You know, we can expect a run-heavy football game in this matchup today. Both teams love to win on the ground. The Wildcats have 346 average rushing yards per game, and leading that charge is running back Kyle Farrell, who has 2,056 rushing yards and 32 total touchdowns. The Athens Warriors are looking to win their first state title in school history, while the Wilmington Wildcats are chasing their second state title in the past 9 years. Should be a good one, guys.
All right, Casey, thank you. The Athens offense essentially going to be on the field first. They won the toss, coach, and they elected to take the ball. What does that say to your team if you're the Athens coaching staff?
That says that we think we can get it done offensively. We want to make a statement early instead of putting the defense on and having the ball in the second half. They're going to try to get off the snide early.
It's going to be Jared Schnapp, and deep to receive also for Athens is, I believe it's Brody Rector back there, the 5'5" junior, and he is back there for return. And so Wilmington has a weapon as a kickoff specialist, Reed Juster, who has had some big-time field goals throughout his career. He will get us going. Our Class 2A state championship for 2023 underway. It will be Rector on the return, actually Schnapp on the outside, and stopped around the 27-yard line, and that is where Athens will start. Let's go through the starting lineups presented by OSF. And for Athens, Braden Leathers, the All-Stater, up front, leading this offensive line. Two-way guy, Caleb Craig, cousin of Corey. We'll see a lot of Corey in a minute. And also Blake Chernowski, a two-way star who has been a 3-year starter, 6 foot 250. Not really talked about nearly as much as he probably should in terms of that offensive line. Drew Cushman will call the plays under center. You see number 10 right there. And, one thing that Knox talked about is that he's going to need to be able to carry the ball to extend drives. We'll see how many opportunities he has. First play, stuffed. And Wilmington says no immediately, no gain. And it will be 2nd down and 10 coming up. For the Wilmington defense, Zach Oland is the 5'11" sophomore who has been very good for this defensive line. As you saw him in on that play. Get to the Wilmington starters momentarily. In the meantime, is your offensive set right up the gut. Here's Craig cutting inside and getting out to the 33-yard line. That's a bigger pickup that makes it a little bit easier on 3rd down. I mentioned the defensive starters, Matt Swisher, Pete Rampa, a couple of seniors up front in this 3-man front for Wilmington. Joey Allgood, who has been all good for this team on the defensive side of the football. Tremendous job at the middle linebacker spot. Brendan Moran is the only starter back from the defense in 2021 that played against Nashville. And stuffed on 3rd down is Bigard. First time we've seen Cameron Bigard. And the Wilmington defense holds on the first possession.
Joey Allgood stepped up from that linebacker position and made a nice stick as he just stood up the ball carrier one-on-one in space on the outside and forces a would-be first series punt here by Athens.
And Wilmington has 4 guys in their defensive backfield that will go both ways. Farrell, Kettman, McCubbin, the quarterback, and Juster, as we mentioned. And this will be Farrell deep to receive. And the punt nearly got a piece of it, hung up on the wind, and that's going to go out of bounds. Where will they mark it? And it stayed in the whole time. That will be marked down at the 43-yard line of Athens.
Only 11 yards on that punt, so good field position for Wilmington on their first drive.
And an injury on the field. See, that's Joey Van Dyne, the junior, on special teams. And so the training staff for Wilmington, it's Katie Kane that's out there. And she will, not sure if they're looking at a leg or what have you.
Tough situation. You're hurt on the very first drive of the football game on a special teams play. Wilmington players on the sideline, all on one knee in respect to their teammate.
And he sits up, gets up, and he'll have to be helped off. Kind of had his foot caught. Not sure what that was. There wasn't a lot of contact. You saw him at the 36-yard line, so Joe's going to be helped off. That's one of those sophomores helping him off there. As we get back to action here, first possession here for Wilmington. This is Cade McCubbin under center. And immediately they go to Farrell and stopped on the right side. Again, their starting lineups presented by OSF. You see this offensive line, Joey Allgood, as we mentioned, Oland as well. Brody Benson, he started in the 2021 state championship game against Nashville. Logan Adderman as well, the 6'2", 276-pound senior. We talked about McCubbin a little bit. He's a baseball player, he's a basketball player, but one thing that Jeff Reeds talked about, he doesn't just hand off the ball. And that aspect of being able to throw or be a threat is going to be big today.
Well, he calls their offense. He has the ability. They give him the right to audible on plays, change plays at the huddle, and he is the one that basically makes their team go.
Here's the pitch, and it's Farrell to about the 33. We'll check that, the 37-yard line. So Kyle Farrell, 230 attempts coming in, across the 2,000-yard mark on the season. 150 yards in that semifinal win with 3 touchdowns against Maroa Forsyth, who this Athens team lost to in a heartbreaker in Week 9 to determine their conference championship.
Yeah, and yes, Wilmington Farrell, he averages 158 yards per game on the ground. So do you key on him? But Kedman can hurt you as well for the running back position. And Braden Anderson, he'll be a factor from that fullback position as well. So multiple guys can carry the ball.
Pitch on the play clock, running down and stuff right at the line of scrimmage. It was Ryan Kedman trying to leap over a tackler, and he was set backwards.
Kaboom. Braden Leathers is the one that put hat on hat right there. He comes in with 138 tackles, 11 TFLs, and watch him get in, read his gap response. We look at his eyes right there, and he puts his head right through the football. Excellent play by 6'1", 195 senior Leathers right there. Kaboom.
And Corey Craig right with him there, the 5'8 senior. We talked about him. On 4th down and 5. They will shift to punt formation. And it's Juster who sends it inside the 10. It bounces right there, and it will die at the 9. And that is where Athens will take over for their second possession. They've traded possessions, nothing yet. Still scoreless in Normal for our Class 2A state championship matchup between Wilmington and Athens.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
Four seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can know from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards, SIU Carbondale, and by Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council.
Just getting going here in Normal for our Class 2A state championship game, Athens and Wilmington. We are scoreless, about 7:33 to go. Matt Rodewald, Mark Lindo, and Casey Standahar. There's Athens, about an hour 15. So, Coach, you have a choice. You can go play darts over at the Long Branch Tavern. They've been open for 2 hours. Get yourself a steak sandwich, I'm sure. Or you could just come up here and drive for an hour. So that's what a lot of people did, and I can see a lot of green in the stands here.
I think the place is rocking today.
That's right. Wilmington had to go the other way, so it's about an hour 15. The team left last night, and they had a nice escort on their way out of town. Lots of sirens, fire trucks, and the whole bit. And so the rest of them came down today to enjoy this 2A state championship matchup. So Athens in their second possession. They go with Craig right up the gut at about the 10-yard line. Maybe an extra yard on the game. Out to the 11-yard line. We're really seeing both teams trying to establish the run here. We expected, but neither has been successful as of yet.
Little inside handoff, and a lot of coaching staffs like to script their first so many plays of the game, whether it be 8 or 10. Not privy to if these teams did that, but the reason they do that is they want to see certain plays against certain defenses to see how the defense reacts. But pretty simple game plan. Stop the run for both teams in this football game. 8 in the box right now, purple shirts.
Cushman pitches, and it's Begard, and Begard cuts back inside. He had a lean there, but he couldn't shake a tackler, and he was able to get close to the first down marker. Matt Swisher on the chase there, the 5'6" senior, was able to pull him down and save a first down at the very least. And that'll bring up third down.
Well, Begard was so patient at 5'7", 165. A little bit of a diminutive guy, but boy, can he make cuts back against the grain. When I say patient, sometimes you just want to wait and wait and wait, read your blocks, and let that hole develop. That's a sign of a good runner.
Trying to stay on the field here. Man in motion. And it's counter time for Begard. And he can't get through traffic and stuff behind the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a loss of 2 for Athens. And it's going to send them into punt formation.
Boy, what a nice job staying home. See all those purple shirts on the interior have a gap responsibility. The one technique between guard and center, the 3 technique between guard and tackle. Those guys staying right at home. Even the ball was going away from them, the ball came back to them.
We've got a pair of 3 and outs for Athens. Cushman will punt. He's on for his 21st punt of the year. The quarterback as the punter. Long step through. He keeps it low. Can he get a roll? And that was a friendly one that got closer to the 44-yard line. It didn't look pretty, but it does just enough to make sure that you don't hand Wilmington wonderful field position. The Wildcats offense will come out next. Timeout here in Normal.
When you plant Wiffles hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wiffles.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-800-335-8215.
The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that high-yielding hybrids soon would be there. Hope you get everything you want this year. Happy holidays from your friends at Wiffles Hybrids.
Let's introduce you to the Athens starting lineup on the defensive side of the football, brought to you by OSF. Blake Chernowski, we talked about him. How about Josh Harris, who was in the backfield for the first play of the Shelbyville game? He will make an impact immediately. Corey Craig, we've talked at length about him. Caleb Craig, those 2 are cousins, and Zach Laird will do some work on the outside as well. And Cameron Bigard, Grant Purchase, Cole Halsey, and Jared Schnapp, your defensive starters for Athens.
So basically it's a 3-4 look, but don't be fooled. You see that on your screen because you see more than the corners and safeties coming up more.
And up the gut for about 5 yards. Yeah, at times you will see what looks like 10 within a 5-yard stretch of the box.
There is no doubt that somebody would be able to hit a big play if they execute in the passing game. Usually the run sets up the pass, and we shall see when each offense decides to let one fly.
And look at Braden Anderson, 375 yards. You know his family pedigree. If you follow Wilmington football, Damian Anderson. Of course, he is the nephew of Damian Anderson.
Arizona Cardinals.
Arizona Cardinal, one of the best to ever do it for Northwestern, and a Heisman finalist. Here's Farrell breaking through tacklers, busting inside the 30-yard line. And a first down of the day for both teams, as we're about 7 minutes in.
And that is vintage Farrell right there, like a pinball. Bing, 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 just bouncing off one place to the other, just running so hard and downhill. Watch him take a hit. Yes, another hit. Yes, but he just keeps his balance and keeps fighting and fighting. Look at those legs drive. That is a really fine run that he picks up really good yardage after probably being hit after a gain of 1 or 2.
Seen this a couple times in our first game in our Class 1A state championship. This one as well. It's week 14. How important is it to stay low when you're tackling against these kinds of offenses?
One of the technique things that is so critical.
Anderson took a big hit right at the 20-yard line and driven down a big pickup of maybe 8 yards, with still physical punishment as Anderson hit the turf.
And you talk about tackling. Tackling is such a difficult thing for coaches because you want to teach tackling, but you don't want to tackle live too much because of injuries. So it's really a fine line what coaching staffs do with that. But the biggest thing you got to sell with tackling is convince your players to want to make a hit. Then the technique part, which you can walk through day in and day out. And then the physical part, and put that all together, and you have fine defenders who make tackles in space.
2nd down and 2. They need to get to the 22-yard line. McCubbin will hand it to the up back. That's Anderson. 1st down as he gets just enough, maybe 3, and stopped on the play It was Caleb Craig that came in for the stuff. But Wilmington benefiting from good field position, moving the football a little bit here on their second possession of the game.
Anderson at 5'8", or 5'9", 183. He gets most of his carries on the inside attack. 50 carries on the year, 7.5 yards per carry. But his offensive line had just enough of a seam right there. Braden Benson, Joey Allgood, Andrew Dito, Zach Olin, Logan Aderman, all in the front five. Tackle to tackle for Wilmington.
Cubbin looks at it, now hands it, and that's Kettman spinning back inside, and a late push, and that came in. That's a big penalty that came in there. Will Bushong, a little extracurricular after that, and he's going to get the flag for it. We didn't see any of that in the first game, but when you play physical run defense or physical run offense, those trenches are battling every single play. You got to keep your head sometimes.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's an emotional football game, but 15 yards, in this case, be half the distance goal line, is huge.
First time we've heard from Dan Heinen today, our head referee.
After the play, we have a dead ball, personal foul on the defense, number 61. Half the distance to the goal, second down.
Dan Heinen, the Pecatonica native who works as a quality director for an electronics company in Rockford, coming down for this one. So that's your head official, James Turner, the linesman, Paul Heinen, the umpire, LeGarrette Reed, and Mitchell Heinen, the back judge for the Rockford area-based crew that is officiating this 2A state championship. And they earned it, so congratulations to their crew and their families as well for all their hard work to get here.
Good coaching by the Athens staff right there as they took the penalty, got the player out, and had a teachable moment on the sideline.
Second down. And so after the play, they mark it half the distance inside the 10-yard line. And they go with Kettman again, and Juster slow to get up. And that will move the chains for a first down.
And then after one play on the sideline, they put Bushong back in at the one technique here. He'll be in at a defensive tackle, but they brought him out. Teachable moment, one-on-one. I had my eyes on him, and coaches left him with a slap on the helmet in a positive way. Go back out there, young man, and make a play for us.
Yeah, obviously you know that at this stage of the game, it's just the emotions are high. You got to reel them in, and even these kids know that.
It's all about finishing the red zone right now. If you are Wilmington, they had a short field to work with.
From the 5, here's Farrell cutting back in and driven straight down after pickup of 1 yard. It's Craig. Boy, it's the two Ball Staters meeting in the hole.
Boy, Craig is just punishing when he hits you. He puts his hat on hat and just drives through the ball carrier. Watch 42 in your screen come up. Look at his eyes. He sees the ball carrier. He steps up into the gap, and kaboom, he makes a play one-on-one. And it's all about keeping vision on the ball carrier.
How hard is it to be patient in a goal line set to make sure you find the ball, then go deliver the hit?
Yeah, that's it. Patience is a virtue in this sense, and he's a fine linebacker because he does have that sense where the football is going. He knows where his gap responsibility is at.
Second and goal, pitch to Farrell. He tries to cut back in again and nowhere to go again, and he's stopped. Cameron Bigard with the stop this time for Athens.
So Athens playing tough against this Wilmington offense in their red zone defense. They've tried to probe as Wilmington twice in the middle. Will they try to go to the outside? I would think they'll try to probe the outside here.
Taking a lot of time off the clock as we head to the final minute of this first quarter. Play clock down to 12.
Cade McCubbin runs all the way to the sideline to get his play from offensive coordinator Barry Southall.
McCubbin goes under center. 3 on the play clock. They get it off. Counter this time. It's Kettman. Cuts inside to the goal line. Did he get in? Yes, he did. Ryan Kettman for his 12th touchdown of the year. And a 4-yard score puts Wilmington on the board first.
Boy, they probed inside. They probed outside. Then we anticipated they would get it to the outside. Kettman uses his speed, puts his cleat in the ground, squares his shoulders. He had a 47-yard touchdown run and 101 yards in the semifinals, and he hits pay dirt for the first time today, getting just off the edge.
So Wilmington scores first, and they'll go for the extra point. But the Wildcats take that 6-0 lead in the final minute here of quarter number 1. And they'll do the traditional extra point. Readjuster on, McCubbin to hold. Low snap, the kick on the way, and it is good. Wilmington strikes first. 8 plays, 44 yards, and it took nearly 5 minutes. But it's Ryan Kettman who scored on the first play from scrimmage in the semifinal. He gets the first touchdown in this one against Athens.
Really nice block by Braden Anderson on the outside to find that little seam. His running back Kettman went behind to hit those end zone.
So the Wildcats a little more at ease in front as they've led in pretty much in every one of their ball games at some point. They lost week 1 to Seneca, and they were able to figure out how to beat them in the state tournament, state playoffs. But those two had a couple of physical, nasty football games this year.
Yeah, 2 really fine football teams, and Wilmington got him at the right time. You know, we talk about that block by Anderson. On the interior, you know what your assignments are. On the exterior, on the perimeter, good blockers, they do what we call stalk, and that's find a man to block. You want to, first off, you want to attack that person. You want to buzz him, hit him, and then you want to make contact. The ABCs of blocking on the perimeter, and Anderson did a good job right there, fundamentally sound, to help his teammate get to the end zone.
And we've heard Athens talk about trying to get them out of their tight set, their foot-to-foot set, get their splits wide. There's no evidence of that happening yet. So with Wilmington punching it in, they'll kick with the wind here to give Athens one final couple of plays before the end of the first quarter. A line drive kick taken at the 1. This is Schnapp. Jared Schnapp cutting inside at the 22-yard line, and he's stopped. And that's Logan Van Dyne, the 6'1" sophomore, on the stop on special teams. Athens will have it 1st and 10, pretty much at their own 22-yard line. Jeff Reitz, head coach for Wilmington, been there a long time, 30 years, 12 unbeaten regular seasons. Let's go ahead and add the 5-0 from 2021 in that spring. 6 times he's finished at 8-1 in the regular season. 18 of his 30 wins of his 30 seasons have seen 8 wins. There have been a lot of winning football in Wilmington because of him.
A lot of success, graduate of Morris High School, and that fine football tradition there. So he's been in that Joliet, Wilmington, Morris area for his entire lifetime and has done an incredible job as the head coach at Wilmington.
First down.
All Start's going to move it back a little bit. And so go from Reitz, one of the top 20 winning coaches in Illinois history, to Ryan Knox in his 15th season. Again, Athens football didn't start till maybe 17 years ago, and he's been there just about the entire way. It's Corey Craig with a big game there. 14 straight playoff bids, 7 semifinals in 2017 and 2019. Finally breaking through with a school record 11 wins to get here today.
Yeah, and how about his brother Ryan Knox as an assistant coach? His dad Gary, who he had a chance to coach with, helps as well. So it's a family affair for the Knox family in Athens.
So you got Ryan Knox, you got Sean Knox, who's the JV head coach. You got Kerry Knox, the dad, who was the North Green head coach at one point. I got one more for you. Amy Knox is the trainer. She's going to be out here. Well, maybe we'll see her out here for a little bit. Hope not, I guess, in some sense. That is quarter number 1. It's an all-family affair for everyone. Wilmington and Athens. We're getting going. The Wildcats with an early 7-0 lead.
Feels good to be home.
Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited-time doorbusters starting at $199. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
Wait, stop scrolling.
I'm here to help.
For what?
ACA Health Insurance Marketplace open enrollment is here. You can find a health plan that works for you and your family, or change your current plan through GetCoveredIllinois.gov. Certified local navigators like myself can help you enroll and find out if you qualify for financial help.
I really need to do that.
That's why I'm here. Don't change that profile pic. You look great. Open enrollment ends January 15th.
Hiring Chicago's IBEW Local 134 electricians and the electrical contractors of Chicago and Cook County are the choice for your renewable energy needs. All of our professionals undergo extensive training, emphasizing the latest EV, energy storage, and solar solutions, which sets us apart from any competition. Take the uncertainty out of your transition to renewables and let Powering Chicago deliver the next generation of clean energy to you.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $199. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Back with you on the IHSA television network. Athens Warriors head coach Ryan Knox borrowed a special mantra from University of Illinois head coach Brett Bielema. It's TSD. He wants his players to be tough, smart, and dependable. Coach Knox appreciated that Coach Bielema spoke to the High School Coaches Association in the state. He said it's really a great lesson. Even when our players are done with football, being tough, smart, and dependable will just help you be successful in life. Matt?
All right, Casey, thank you so much. And, of course, Illinois has done a nice job of recruiting, not just in the big classes, but in the small schools as well, and finding that individual talent to come down to Champaign. And stop behind the line of scrimmage there. Bring up third down. And again, the wind is a factor in terms of just if you want to throw the ball or if you're in position to throw the ball, but also in terms of where you might want to think about points. And for Wilmington with the kicker, you know, going against the wind's a little bit different this time around.
Drew Cushman on the season, 25 out of 51, 533 yards on this 3rd and 9. This would be a passing situation.
They go the inside handoff that time on like a double reverse, and it was blown up immediately. That is I believe technically a pass since it was handed forward from side to side.
And Athens' offense has just been stifled by the Wildcat defense, averaging just under 2.9 yards per play for Athens. This offense that averages 36 points a game. They do not have a first down yet in this football game.
Wilmington with, or rather Athens with just 15 total yards of offense. Look at that bounce on the punt. Outstanding, and it will be picked up. Here's Farrell. It's 1 on 4, and that's not going to work. And he probably saved maybe 5 yards by picking it up, but what a bounce and roll. That's a 65-yard punt.
Reed Juster.
Drew Cushman, go ahead.
No, they're just a special weapon in the kicking game right there. There is no doubt about it. He got all of that football. Drew Cushman got it done and flipped the field.
He really did probably save 5 yards as a result of that. That is a career long, obviously, for Drew Cushman, who shatters it by a good 18 yards. Decent punter who's averaged 31 yards on punts throughout the season, but not really the record they was hoping to break today, but there you go.
Yeah, Cushman, number 10 in purple, having his special teams impact as number 10, Reed Juster for Wilmington. Two good punters.
So Wilmington back to work on offense from the 12. They go inside with Anderson and maybe 5 yards out to the 17, call it 4. And second down coming up. So a couple yards here. And clock continues to run, and possession football has been good to Wilmington. And they will sit in the huddle and wait. They don't exit the huddle till maybe the 10-second mark of that play clock. Down to 6. They get it off. Pitch to the outside. Here's Kettman spinning inside and stopped. That's Corey Craig. He's everywhere. making another tackle. All right, so when you have a bunch of Knoxes on the sideline, you got to pick the right one. So can we identify the right one? There we go.
There's the boss.
That's fine. There you go. So there's Ryan Knox. Did you see the numbers with him? Well, everyone got playing time on the camera. How about that? See, there's brotherly love going, why didn't I get on camera more? Now we get to settle that. You know how siblings are.
I do.
Wilmington 1 of 2 on third down. They go for it again here, and no throw this time. It's McCubbin looking right side. He's got Juster, and he caught it for a second, but a penalty flag came in, and that would presume to be in the area of pass interference.
Yeah, it threw into double coverage on a little bit of post corner. Juster was a intended receiver right there. I think Cameron Begard may have gotten a hand in a little bit too early.
It's the only option out there for Wilmington. So he had 3 defenders descend on him.
Pass interference on the defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty results in a first down.
He called it there.
And it wasn't Begard. I saw it in real time. You see his right hand right there. He got on the shoulder just a little bit too quick. Good call by the officiating crew. See it. 3rd and 6 situation. They move the sticks on a first down penalty.
You had Kettman out there as well. So, and I don't think they were supposed to be in the same neighborhood. Well, first down, and so Wilmington keeps moving from their 33. Here's Farrell, who went in motion for a minute, busting through tacklers and spinning to the 42 as he ran over Grant Purchase. 5th carry of the day for him. He's starting to get the workload going.
Well, number 8 just put his right foot in the ground, cut back against the grain. A really nice jump cut, if you will. And he has great balance as a running back. The ability to change directions, agility, he shows that as well. He's got it all. He's a total package as a runner.
Old school tempo between plays. We've seen these old school offenses, but usually they have tempo with it. This is going to slow things down. We've seen it in both of our games so far. Farrell spins across the first down marker. Did he get it? He did, and so driven back. That won't matter. It'll be a first down as he gets out to the 44-yard line, and Wilmington will keep the chains moving. They're just taking a lot of time between, and that's something we haven't really seen lately in football. It's always tempo, even with the traditional offenses, but possession football really valuable at this time of year.
Well, and you keep the other offense on the boundary. That's the best way to keep a high-scoring team down. We only saw 1 turnover in the 1A title game. That's really clean football. None yet today. When the offense takes care of the football, they can run some plays, run some clock.
Farrell cuts back in. Ball comes out. It's loose, and it's a fumble. And it looked like Athens came up with it. Grant Purchase was right there. So right on cue. Wilmington with the first mistake of the day, and Athens seizes control.
We talked about turnovers being oh so critical. That ball popped out. What a hit it was. And you round the football, good things happen. Athens comes up with the first turnover of the game, and they're on a plus 47 after a big-time hit. See the jump cut right there, it gets the grain, and a big-time hit. It was on the inside. They give the fumble cause right there for Athens to Braden Leathers, the hard-hitting linebacker. He's the one that jarred it loose.
Purchase was right there. Biggard was there as well. And so can Athens take advantage? They have yet to pick up a first down today. And Biggard tried to cut back in, nowhere to go. Stuffed immediately as Joey Allgood came in to drive down the tackle. Kyle Farrell in on the mix as well. You see the reaction after that fumble. You got the feeling that Athens needed something at that moment.
Some kind of spark, because their offense has been stagnant, to say the least, thus far. 7:15 on a running clock without a first down. A team that averages 36 a game, 410 yards on the ground, and they have not moved the sticks as of yet. See the double wing alignment, of course.
Give up to Craig, and he gets close to the first down marker and maybe 2 yards shy as Brendan Moran comes in for the stop. He rides him down right at about the 39-yard line.
Craig realizes there's such a low pad level at 5'8", 200. He was hit at the 37, 38-yard line max, and gets like 3 or 4 more yards after contact, just like a bulldozer coming right at you downhill.
About 2 yards and inches on this third down for Athens. Craig again, right at the first down and a little bit more. He nearly escaped everything, and a touchdown-saving tackle on that one, Joey Cortese. And the first down of the game for Athens comes in the midway part of the second quarter.
Runs off his left side, gets a couple nice blocks. Brody Benson, Joey Allgood on your screen.
Back to work again, and this time it's Schnapp who gets a couple. There's a feeling of rhythm now. That's with the Athens offense. As they get inside the 30.
Chernowski and Leathers, the ones that trying to get him going here from a blocking standpoint.
They come to the line. Cushman to the up back. That's Craig, and he got maybe 2 that time. Wilmington slams the door shut. Pete Rampa leading the charge. And also Brendan Moran with the stop. Craig now up to 7 carries. The workload increasing for him.
Cousin Caleb Craig on the same football team, so family affair there as well.
Yeah, Caleb is the right guard, so he'll be right behind Corey.
Number 50 there on your screen. Caleb Craig, 5'11", 200-pounder.
Big third down right here, 3rd and 5. Schnapp to the outside, and a lot of room, but a penalty. This will be a touchdown, but will it come back? And they blow it dead. That looks like the area of holding.
Well, they fake the first back into the line off left tackle. They give it to the second back, Schnapp, who got out to the edge, to the sideline. Once he hit the boundary, there was no one there. He was going to get to the end zone, but that flag came very early.
Holding on the offense, number 53. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
They get the All-Stater on the penalty, and Zach Laird was having a conversation trying to get an explanation as to why. Watch it again.
Watch 53 on your screen. Top of your screen it's going to be. And not a lot of contact there. Watch, try to find 53 again.
Right here,
That's
it was
who they
the
called
left
it.
hand.
Yeah.
He held him long enough. Did he hold him to the point of
got it outside just a little bit?
Is the question, but
the fortunate thing is that penalty came really early, so it wasn't like, okay, it had nothing to do with the play.
So 3rd down and 13. Athens' ability to throw the ball could come into play here. They fake the handoff, trying to set up the screen. It's Cushman. Can he keep it and escape? He gets inside the 30 and makes it manageable. And a late flag comes in because he got hit. And that is going to move the chains.
Well, that's going to be a 15-yarder on a late hit. And the Wilmington sideline now questioning things.
So Ryan Cushman nearly got all of that back, and it looked like he picked up maybe 12 or 11 yards on the ground. We had talked about it, the ability of this one, his ability to run in the beginning of this one, as we get the call. I got to figure out where the football is going to be.
Dead ball. Personal foul. Late hit out of bounds. On the deep end. Half the distance of the ball. Result in a first down.
So from the 25 is where they mark it, and so they'll put it inside the 13-yard line in a fresh set of downs. But Cushman, you know, and And Ryan Knox talked about it. They called 3 pass plays last week. He scrambled all 3 times. Here he is again.
Watch Brendan Rand's going to come to your screen. 44 right there. And yes, Cushman was outside the boundary, no doubt.
Now, it's not much of a hit, but it's out of bounds, and the attempt to make that hit is the problem. And that's where that penalty came in.
So we can clarify things. If the ball carrier, in this case the quarterback, if you're heading out of bounds, you can still hit him. He's a player. He's in attack position. But he was 1 step outside the boundary.
By a good
thus
yard.
Thus a good call.
Closing in on 4 minutes. And Athens desperately wants to cash in with a touchdown here as we get closer and closer to halftime. This is the 8th play of the drive. 2nd down and 8. Cushman will give it to Schnapp. Cuts inside and stopped immediately. That's Allgood in on the stuff. Moran and Allgood both together. And maybe to the 10-yard line. So here we go with another big 3rd down again.
Good job by Wilmington because, again, you have your Corey Craig Jr. in your sights. You have him as the guy that you expect to get the football in this situation. An amazing 28 touchdowns on the year. So they give it to him, not so fast. They give it to the second man through Schnapp, but really good job by Wilmington reacting.
They mark it at the 10. This is a 4.5-minute drive for Athens. They fake the handoff again. Pressure everywhere. Cushman, can he escape all of it? He'll throw it. It's deflected. And that was somehow saved them a ton of yards. There were 6 or 7 Wildcats trying to chase him down, and he eluded all of them.
Allgood was just chasing him. He finally knocked that ball down. Big play by Allgood on the defensive side. The 6'1", 230-pound senior.
They're going to go for the field goal here. And this is going to be Gage Hahn. As we watch the replay, you saw Matt Swisher everywhere trying to get to him.
Saw Allgood, very well coached, got his big left hand up, knocked that ball down.
This is from 27 yards, and for Athens, they have not tried a field goal all year. Hahn has attempted 48 extra points at the very least. And Athens calls a timeout because apparently they weren't lined up the right way based on the emotion you can see from the coaching staff.
And when you haven't attempted a field goal all year, I guess that's understandable, right?
This is the neighborhood of an extra point. So we'll get to that in just a second. We are in game number 2 of our football jamboree here at Normal this weekend here. Here's the rest of the day for you. Mount Carmel and the Aces against Byron and the Tigers. Again, not Mount Carmel Caravan. That's tomorrow. And this is Mount Carmel from downstate near Evansville. Rochester and St. Lawrence, a pair of teams battling for a state championship in that Class 4A matchup. We're looking for that one to go off around 7 o'clock. Should be interesting to see those 2 matchups. At Byron, for sure, is with how awesome they've been offensively all year.
Well, they just put up points time and time again. But you know the strange thing about that, Matt, I was just going to talk about their offense as you bring up Byron. We had 4 offenses today, 1A and 2A, that we thought would put up a plethora of points.
Yes.
And we've seen a total of 21 points in 6 quarters of football, depending on this kick.
This is Gage Hahn. Snap is down, the kick is on the way, and it is good. And so points are at a premium in this one. The first field goal of the year. Gage Hahn, the sophomore kicker, puts it through the uprights, and it's 7-3.
Boy, he had the wind at his back, and he needed it because he did not get all of that football. He got it underneath just a bit. Wind carried it through, and Athens has to feel good getting up on the board with 3:13 to go, at least putting points on the board with that culmination of a pretty solid drive. Here's the kick again. Watch him keep his head down. A little bit of body language saying, get on through there. Get on through there.
Gotta love the excitement, but yeah.
Kind of like one of my wet shots. Kind of like one of my wet shots on the golf course.
Exactly.
Get going, get going.
But prior to that drive, they had not gotten a first down, and it took them a while to get going, and that was the first drive that they were able to really string some things together. What was working offensively for Athens there?
Well, I think they had a pretty good balance of inside and outside. They started probing a little bit by using Craig as a fake 2 guy and then getting the ball to snap after as a second man. Bogard hasn't gotten involved as much as I thought he would. Look for him, for Athens, to still be impactful on this game running the football.
So 11-play drive with a short field for the most part. 4 minutes and 37 seconds they were able to chew up on that drive. And so Athens is on the board. Hahn will kick it. It's going to come up short at the 15-yard line. This is Farrell on the return. Gets to the outside and breaks through. It's Hahn in front of him to try and stop him, and he will knock him out of bounds right near midfield. And so the kicker has to save the touchdown. Big return of about 35 yards for Kyle Farrell. There's Farrell again on the return.
See Farrell, he got his eyes on the football. One bounce, knows where he's at. Look at his cutback, gets a couple blocks, and then makes 2 guys miss to get the ball out to the 50-yard line. Really nice play by a complete football player.
Sometimes for that kickoff team, when the ball hits the turf, you get out of your lanes. And what's the thing we always hear? Stay in your lanes. And so you saw a little bit of that there, and it allowed Wilmington to set some blocks up.
In your lanes as a special teams player, in your gaps as a defender.
Here's Anderson up the gut, trying to skip out of a tackle, and he can't do it. And he gets about 5 yards.
With Leathers all over that tackle again. He just continues to be impactful on the defensive side. If you're watching those white shirts, take a look at number 53, because he flat out has a nose for the football. 140 tackles on the season. He has 6 tackles today.
Again, Wilmington taking their time. What they'll do, and both quarterbacks have done this, we've seen them run over, get the play, run back. There's no headset, anything like that. There's no communication. We don't see a lot of play cards just yet. Might see him tomorrow. Here's Farrell, and he is stopped at the 44-yard line. So with Athens getting the field goal there, it jogged some memories from Athens fans. Their quarterfinal matchup against Nashville. This is, if you're in Nashville, don't watch, because they had this little display here. This extra point was good, but at the end of the game, as you see there, the field goal attempt, that was to win it as time expired. Nashville allows Athens to escape, and 20 yards, not much.
Well,
and so
Ryan Knox said he couldn't decide whether to watch or not watch, and he said finally Jared Schnapp said, "Coach, no good." Then he could celebrate.
And Farrell following blockers through the hole and finally dragged down. Leathers had to chase him down and hold on for dear life. He said he looked at the Nashville student section in the end. They were cheering and then confused, and it made him confused.
Yeah.
And, they had scored with a minute to go to take the lead. And Nashville was able to get all the way down the field, and you just thought the inevitable, but you never know sometimes. Here's Farrell in the pitch. Tries to cut back inside, but Leathers says no to that. And so Wilmington moving the football a little bit.
Plenty of time. I know the clock's running. Interesting to see. We've seen Wilmington go with a pitch to Farrell. What that does, that allows him to get out on the perimeter, square his shoulders, and then start to go vertical.
They give to Anderson this time. Gets close to the marker. Still about 2 yards short. I thought he'd gotten further than that. They spot the ball at the 26. Clock right at the minute mark. Plenty of time, but there's a little sense of urgency now kicking into gear for McCubbin. Here's Kettman this time as he gets to the 20. That's going to be a first down. And that will stop the clock to move the chains with 37 seconds.
Neither one of these teams, especially now Wilmington with the football, you see their large margin of victory all year long. And we always hear about the 2-minute drills for offenses. neither one of these teams had to run too many two-minute offenses, to be honest with you, because they've just been so dominant in their scoring ability.
So timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well. 7-3 Wilmington driving before the half.
Every day, Union Concrete contractors are fueling a foundation that lets our city stand tall. They bring the tools, training, and know-how required to bring your commercial projects in on time and with the highest levels of safety. Visit concreteil.com today to browse Northern Illinois' top union contractors specializing in commercial concrete and find the contractors you need to get your job done right.
I couldn't ask for a better agent, for a better company in a disaster where you have no idea where to start.
I learned that there's not a given in life. It takes a team. There's people that are going to watch out for us and they care.
It's been pretty stressful. Once we saw Lori and got our plan, it's
like a huge weight lifted.
Athens fans enjoying the fact that they're in this one right now. 7-3 Wilmington. We told you the sweatshirt business was good. We've seen a lot of sweatshirts, both purple and green. And Wilmington brought a lot of people, too. That is a football town like no other in the state of Illinois. They're among the best in terms of how they support their program. Back to action here on 1st and 10 after the timeout. It's going to be Kettman getting to about the 17-yard line. Did the ball come out again? We stop and play here. The clock was running for a minute. They have not made an indication. Athens has it. Second turnover of the day. Back-to-back possessions in which Wilmington fumbles, and that's going to get Athens out of danger.
Corey Craig Jr. with a big-time hit from behind that jarred that ball loose. Really good play as we hang tough. 7-3. Wildcats against the Warriors at this point late in the first half.
Would you look at that? I'm in the classroom again. But this time, I can apply these skills to make some money. Lots of money.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
Well, presumably that turnover for Wilmington should allow Athens to escape that first half, only down 7-3. Let's watch it again, Coach.
Corey Craig Jr. from the backside. See him from the back, puts a hit on, strips the ball loose, and following the play, Blake Chernowski falls right on that football, and Athens got a much-needed turnover as Wilmington was ready to extend their lead. But look at all those white shirts around the ball. You attack the football, you're around the ball, and good things happen. Craig with the pop.
Chernowski was the furthest one away from that, and he dove straight down to go get it. That is wonderful ball instincts. And so for Wilmington, they were able to get on the board first, but the last two possessions, back-to-back fumbles, they've kind of left the door open for Athens to be in the mix here, and they will just simply take a knee and presumably go to the half, assuming that nobody calls a timeout and delays the inevitable. Both teams with 2 timeouts right now, and that looks like that will do it.
Well, Wilmington wanted to head to the sideline, but very well coached. They're not going to leave. They're not going to leave until Athens does. Good job staying on the field.
Athens with 59 total yards of offense and Wilmington with 89 yards of total offense. It's been a slugfest. Turnovers, a key here, and special teams with Athens getting a field goal on the board. And so we go into the half with Wilmington on top by a score of 7-3. One pass attempt for Athens. But Corey Craig with 8 carries for 32 yards. Kyle Farrell with 11 carries, 49 yards. So it's a grinder for sure. 4 yards a carry at least, +4 for both of those feature running backs today. The All-Staters doing what they need to do.
Yeah, but what we haven't seen today in a game and a half, we haven't seen that big, exhilarating, Matt Rodewald 78-yard touchdown call or whatever. It's been all ground and pound here today in both 1A and 2A state championship ball games.
So the Purple folks will head to the locker room and discuss, and really turnovers is the story for them at this point, and making sure that they can get Athens off the field. But for Athens, for a first-time participant, shaking out the cobwebs in the first drive or two, they have looked like they deserve to be on a state championship stage.
Well, once again, it's their defense that has kept them in. You get a ball, you turn the football over, you stay in the football game. They're going to have to find some way to get their ground game going here in half number 2.
Let's send it downstairs as we check in with Casey, the Wilmington head coach.
Guys, thank you, Coach. How important was an early attack, early lead when you see the way that Athens was responding in the second quarter?
Oh, no, I thought it was huge. I mean, I think the way, both teams came out, it's a heavyweight fight. It's a state championship game. This is what it's all about. They got a great team. We're going back and forth right now, and to get on top early was huge. Us giving up turnovers, not good on our end, but we know we're playing a great team, and we got to keep our momentum as much as we can.
What will you tell your team in the locker room?
We got to make some adjustments. They're doing some good things to us from defense to our offensive standpoint. Defensively, I'm happy with where we're at now. It'll be seeing what they do to make their adjustments at halftime. But like I said, it's a great game, great to be a part of. We got to play a little bit better here. We got to quit turning the ball over and go from there.
Coach Reed, thanks for the time.
All right, thanks.
Darius, we'll send it back to you in Chicago in the studio.
Thank you, KC. That's Coach Jeff Reitz. His squad up 7-3 here at halftime. Athens didn't get that immediate score that you're talking about there, Tim, but they did get 2 key turnovers.
Yeah, they did. And again, it took them a series of 2 to settle in. But as Coach said, this is a heavyweight fight now. Athens obviously very comfortable. And, again, playing very good defensively, very strong. Braden Leathers, again, all over the field, doing exactly what you want him to do at that linebacker spot. They're kind of locking down the inside and the fullback and the option. And again, it's a battle. It's very slow, very, very methodical game so far, and they're both doing what they do.
Yeah, both teams under 4 yards per rush attempt so far. 7-3 Wilmington lead here. We got highlights and more analysis on this game coming up for you when we come back.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
Four seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
You never know when you might be involved in an accident, so please put my number in your phone, 312-6-million. Injury law made personal, that's Ankin Law.
The IHSA, committed to keeping student-athletes safe. Through educational initiatives and national partnerships, we're going the distance to develop safer protocols for our teams. Plus, we continue to improve scheduling and conditioning to reduce injuries from preseason through each state championship. 31 sports, 350,000 student-athletes, and one goal, player safety. The IHSA, the future plays here.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV Network. Darius Joshua here. Edgy Tim here with you, taking you through halftime of the 2A contest here. Wilmington with a 7-3 lead. Both sides have been playing great defensively, but would you give the edge to Athens with the 2 turnovers?
Yeah, I would a little bit. As you mentioned, the 2 turnovers, and I just think that you know, you expected Wilmington to come out, play physical. I think Athens has matched that. So again, I think all things given, you look at time of possession, pretty even. So again, there's been no real huge swing one way or the other. So again, if you're an Athens fan, you're feeling good about where you're at right now. Wilmington, as we talked about, a couple of things to clean up, but hopefully they can get it figured out here in the second half.
It's been a defensive battle here between the Wildcats and the Warriors, but no shutout coming up in this game. Let's go through the highlights of this action as Wilmington has the lead here early. This is how they got that lead. Ryan Kettman off of the quick handoff gets in from 4 yards out. That makes it 7-0 here. You see he gets a nice quick handoff, nice blocks on the outside, and powers his way across the goal line for the touchdown. Later on in the second quarter, Kyle Farrell driving up the field, but he's hit by Braden Leathers, and he forces the fumble. That one gets the ball to Athens. They come away with the ball there on a big turnover. Still 7-0 at that point. Late in the second quarter now. 3rd and 13 after a penalty. And Drew Cushman is dropping back to pass. He scrambles forward, and you see that late hit in there. That resulted in a penalty, giving them another first down. They would end the drive with a 27-yard field goal. So that is how they got on the board. They did have a touchdown, but that was taken back by a hold. Yep. Then got the benefit of another penalty on Wilmington to get them on the board here early on. And then, of course, they just shut down Wilmington on another drive on that second fumble of the first half here. Who do you think really kind of has the edge on how they played in that first half?
Well, I'd give it to Athens right now. Even though they're trailing 7-3, I think better things happened as the game moved along. So again, Wilmington, go in, make a few adjustments, and again, hang on to the ball. Look, you're not going to get on your players if you're Coach Rings. I mean, you've gotten to this point. These kids know what they do and what they didn't do well. They will make the adjustment themselves as far as holding on to the football. But it's key. You can't do it in a tight game like this. It's, again, one turnover, one bad play here or there could be the difference between the big trophy and the other trophy.
Yeah, Athens has maximized the opportunities that they've gotten here to kind of be down just 7-3. But for Wilmington, do you like what you've seen from the offense other than the turnovers?
Yeah, I do. Again, you take the turnovers out of the equation. They've shown the ability to move the football on the ground. And again, you need to continue to do that. But, again, maybe a tweak here or there. I mean, we've seen a lot of the counter game, and I'm sure Jeff will have a couple of things cooked up. But Athens, there's no doubt about it. This team belongs here. They're up to the task, and so far they've shown it.
We knew it would be run heavy. Both sides did try to attempt to pass in that first half. Penalty on Wilmington's side. Right. And then Drew Cushman ended up scrambling a little bit there. So we'll see if either side has to open it up through the air in the second half of this game. So much more to come here at halftime. Just 7-3 Wilmington lead here at the half of the 2A championship game. We got more to come for you from the studio when we come back.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Ashley Furniture, America's #1 furniture and mattress retail brand. Northern Illinois University, where your future is our focus. Visit niu.edu. Get Covered Illinois. Your health coverage starts here. Open enrollment ends January 15th. And by Powering Chicago.
Feels good to be home.
Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $199. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Wait!
Stop scrolling. I'm here to help.
For what?
The ACA Health Insurance Marketplace open enrollment is here. You can find a health plan that works for you and your family or change your current plan through getcoveredillinois.gov. Certified local navigators like myself can help you enroll and find out if you qualify for financial help.
I really need to do that.
That's why I'm here. Don't change that profile pic. You look great. Open enrollment ends January 15th.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $199. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Saturday on CW26, Chicago area teams battle for glory. Kicking off at 10 with Nazareth Academy and Joliet Catholic. Then at 1, Cary Grove takes on East St. Louis. At 4, it's Downers Grove North versus Mount Carmel. Then at 7, Loyola Academy takes on Lincoln Way East on CW26.
The King of Queens presents Relationship Advice. Woo your partner.
For the sweet love of God, you gotta get off me.
Tonight at 9 and 9:30 on CW26.
Welcome back at halftime here of our 2A championship, 7-3 Wilmington. As you see there, 2 more games to come on the IHSA TV network. Byron and Mount Carmel taking on each other in the 3A game. That's the next one up. And then to close out the day, Rochester in St. Lawrence in the 4A championship. A couple of teams looking for another championship in their school's history. What are you looking for out of those final 2 games, Edgy?
I'm confident we will see more passing. Somewhat confident we will see more passing.
Hold you to that.
I know you will too. We'll definitely see more passing in the final 2 games. And again, it's a contrast in styles, especially that 3A game. I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be run, power option versus the Golden Aces, shotgun spread, Blaine Sisson doing his thing. So it's 2 different styles. So it'll be no doubt about it, 2 very enjoyable games to check out.
Yeah, of course, anyone who loves defense is loving these first 2 games that we see in here in the championship. But Byron is second all-time in the most points in a single season, so I'm sure they'll be putting up a lot on the board there in that 3A championship game. But that's still a little bit to go here. We still got a second half to play in the 2A championship game between Wilmington and Athens. The Wildcats with the 7-3 lead, and this is how they got it. Ryan Kettman getting into the end zone, powering those legs through. He's got his Wildcats up 7-3. We'll be right back.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends. Or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
The halftime stats are brought to you by Lyona. Start your career in construction today at LyonaCareers.org. 7-3 lead here for Wilmington. What sticks out to you, Edgy Tim, from the first half stats we see here?
It's all pretty even.
It is. It certainly is.
Captain Obvious, but yeah, it's all pretty even. You know, time of possession, something obviously very important. I got a feeling this will continue through the second half. I think we're in a tight game all the way through.
We will see which team can kind of break through here in the second half. Matt Rodewald and Martin Little will take it through the second half. This was another key defensive play from Athens. They're down 7-3.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $199. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Attention! Do you live with chronic knee pain? Is climbing the stairs, even standing up, frustrating and painful? Please note that knee replacement surgery is not your only option. A treatment is now available that is so effective, Medicare fully approved it, and it's not surgery. It's a lubricating gel that the highly trained doctors at the Joint Relief Institute gently place inside your knee, stimulating your body's ability to improve the cushioning inside the joint that you've lost over the years. We've treated over 20,000 patients, resulting in thousands of 5-star Google reviews.
People don't understand pain unless they really live with it. And the relief that these shots have given me is unbelievable.
I've received treatment and walked out pain-free. It was quite awesome.
Stop living in pain. Appointments are filling up fast, and the call is 100% free. Call today, 800-216-4294.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $199. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Saturday on CW26, Chicago area teams battle for glory. Kicking off at 10 with Nazareth Academy and Joliet Catholic. Then at 1, Cary Grove takes on East St. Louis. At 4, it's Downers Grove North versus Mount Carmel. Then at 7, Loyola Academy takes on Lincoln Way East on CW26.
Meet one mom.
It is amazing what a little love and a lot of white wine spritzers can create.
Keeping it together weeknights. American Housewife.
Tonight at 11 and 11:30.
Set to start the second half on a brisk and breezy day here in Normal at Hancock Stadium. About 35 degrees, but it feels like it's in the 20s, and it feels like November. We've seen some hard-hitting football. Matt and Mark back with you in the booth. That was a really key sequence at the end of the first half for Wilmington, leaving some points on the board.
Well, Wilmington turned the ball over their last 2 possessions. They get first ball here in the second half. I'm sure ball security was addressed big time at the half, and I think Wilmington, if they want to get any separation, they have to drive the ball down the field here and finish with points.
They'll feel better on that first drive of the second half if they can get some points, but because of where they fumbled in the 21-yard line, even though kicking into the wind, they were probably guaranteed some points with a field goal at the very least and getting the ball come out of the second half.
We only get so many opportunities in the red zone. They were knocking on the door of the red zone right there. Couldn't finish the deal. Their defense has been outstanding, but the offense has to put some more points on the board and take care of the rock.
Well, how does Athens adjust to some of the things that we saw in the first half from the Warriors? Casey Standahar is with Ryan Knox.
Coach, what do you like about the way that Cushman and your O-line have been handling the defensive pressure from the Wildcats so far?
We've done some good and not good, so hopefully we've got some stuff cleaned up, and, Drew's got to get the ball out a little quicker when we do decide to throw, and we got to be a little bit better in our double teams, but some good, but we got to be better for sure.
How do you want to continue to capitalize on Wilmington's turnovers and those penalties?
Well, we talked about it all week, trying to get helmet on the football, trying to rip and strip it, and so we got 2 of them, and, hopefully we can get a couple more this half.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Matt?
All right, Casey, thank you so much. And if and when they throw for Athens, looks like they're going to make a very interesting, concerned effort to try and put the ball in the air a little bit here in the third quarter.
Well, we shall see if that comes to fruition, because both these teams hang their hat on running the football, and with the windy conditions and the unfamiliarity with the passing game on both sides, I still think, Matt, I talked about turnovers, and that happened. 2 of them by Wilmington, or they would have run away a little bit in the first half. The second thing that will happen in this half for one of these 2 teams, this is going to be a state championship, is I'm going to tell you, you will be able to call an explosive play to the end zone. It's going to happen.
We'll see about that. Hey, let me ask you this, Coach, because you hear Coach speak all the time. When you hear about cleaning things up, I'm curious to hear, when you hear the phrase clean things up, what that really means, especially when you're talking about what's going on with the trenches.
Well, you know, we talk about halftime adjustments. There's only so much you can do in 10 minutes. We'll see what adjustments they've made in their blocking schemes.
Kick return back. Ooh, nasty takedown. Flag coming out. No, it's not. And, of course, Kettman goes down in an awkward position, and he has not gotten up. He had that right leg kind of tucked underneath. Wasn't a face mask. Was it a horse collar? It was kind of that awkward in between. And now the Wilmington training staff back on the field for a second time today.
A violent, but I think clean hit. And there, you know, when you got bodies flying on special teams, going full speed ahead from 40 yards away from each other, those kind of collisions happen. That's why there's been some rules changes at different levels of football to try to negate runbacks. Kind of a freak situation in that particular play. Athens defense had 18 solo tackles in the first half. That's a good thing, but you want tackles to be shared. You want 2 or 3 hats around the football.
See the Wilmington kids on the sideline. Let's see if we can watch it again and kind of get a better feel for what we were looking at. It was Farrell on the, rather Kettman on the return. He went through the middle. Just kind of got him. And you know what? He hit the back of his head hit the turf pretty hard, and I think that is really the issue right now.
Yeah, I don't think it was the hit itself. You're right. It was where the head landed. Relatively new turf here at Hancock Stadium, Illinois State University, home of the Redbirds. Tournament was shared. The championship games were shared by University of Illinois and by Northern Illinois University the last few years. Illinois State with this contract, and Wilmington fans on their feet right now.
You look at Kettman, by the way, moved up after a few games. He's this guy who's got some speed and some patience. And for, Kettman as a sophomore playing in a state championship game, getting some experience, he was not really someone they had keyed on being a factor when you're looking at this team in August, and that adds an extra dimension and dynamic. Be interesting to see how they adjust without him for a moment. It's Jake Castle now going to be in the right side wing back for the moment as they go to Anderson. First play from scrimmage to pick up maybe a yard or 2.
Bottom of that pile. Who's new? Braden Leathers. That's his 10th tackle on the football game. 6'1", 195. We've talked about him throughout the game, but he has been dominant at the middle linebacker position, playing side to side. We've seen him wrap up the football a few different times. We've seen him, get into gaps and make penetration. Just a complete football player. Watch 53 in white as he makes play after play.
He's been everywhere today. But look at how many guys in the box as they come up front. It's going to be a chance to throw from McCubbin against his body, and it's going to be intercepted. No, he cannot hang on. It's Bigard who could not hold on for the pick. Boy, we could have had the 3rd turnover of the day for the Wildcats. A massive break for Wilmington at this point of the game.
Yeah, Bigard had his eyes on the quarterback the whole time. There is no doubt McCubbin had time to roll out. You see him off the play action. He does indeed get his shoulders square. Bigard playing the safety position. He gets inside position on the receiver that they wanted. That was Jake Castle, but no, he couldn't finish the deal and get that 3rd consecutive turnover.
So Bigard has to go back to work, and Wilmington now a 3rd down and 8. They'll go with Farrell, who will get close to the 1st down mark, but he'll be short by about a half a yard. Where do they spot it? And they do give him the friendly spot. Looked like they were going to mark it just outside the 48, and they changed it.
Boy, Farrell with a really nice read with his eyes to the right. He sees the defense coming back, follows his blocking scheme, cuts it back against the grain. You always want to say he knows where the sticks were. I don't think he did. I think he was just a fortuitous spot right there. But Wilmington will keep possession of the football, move the chains. The offensive line starting to get after it a little bit up front.
Wilmington has crossed the 100-yard mark in terms of offense, all on the ground, and you see Did the ball come out again? No, they say no, but a beanbag came flying in there that indicates fumble. Josh Harris was the first one to blow that play up.
We'll watch it again. There's the inside handoff. There's the hit.
He did hit the ground before the... And you see Josh Harris dealing with an ankle as he came hobbling off.
Harris 5'9", 265. Boy, he had penetration. He was across the line of scrimmage almost as that ball was being handed off to just flat out blow up that play.
Wilmington keeps it. We move on. 2nd down and 11. Castle in motion. He gets the handoff this time. And Castle will get driven back right around the 48. So Castle is in for Kettman, but Castle's got 500 yards of rushing for him on the ground and 5 touchdowns. So he's no stranger to playing time by any means. And it just shows the depth that Wilmington has in terms of the ability to run the football.
I was going to say, how do you like basically your 4th back has over 500 yards rushing? If you count the 2, running backs and the fullback, and then Castle now. Unbelievable depth in the running back position.
And it's a big moment for Castle. Again, he's a senior, and he was essentially, replaced in the lineup by a sophomore. And now he's back in at the moment because of injury. And it's going to be Farrell. Cuts inside. Through tacklers all the way down to the 1st down marker. And another injury. That's Leathers, who was slow to get up. You see Harris come back in for Athens.
Wilmington's offensive line, for the first time today, really starting to dominate things up front. They got to get it done one more time here on 4th down. Watch the battle in the trenches. Whoever stays low will win this 4th down battle.
It's going to be McCubbin on the sneak right ahead, and it looked like he got it by about a yard and change. They're going to move the chains. 4th and 1. Keep it simple.
Absolutely. Go straight ahead. Follow your offensive line. Follow Andrew Dito at 6', 195. One of the leaders of their offensive line, the way he carries himself, his teammates love him.
So that dropped interception that we saw is beginning to loom large, as it would have gotten Athens' defense off the field, but now the drive continues, and we're about 3.5 minutes in. McCubbin will hand to Farrell. Up the middle as he makes the turn, spins out of a tackle, and he's getting deeper and deeper with his runs. About 6 yards on the pickup.
Brody Benson with a really nice job. 74 at the point of attack. And don't you think that Farrell doesn't know where 74's at and where he's going to lead him to? They've run that play so many times, probably thousands, counting practice and games. Good symmetry, good relationship between blocker and runner right there.
Again, Benson was the only lineman that started in the 2021 championship game as a sophomore. Back now as a senior, 6'4", 230. 2nd and 4. Up back this time, that's Anderson. He spun forward a bit, and he'll get a 1st down. And that's his 8th carry on the day, and they've moved the chains now 10 times. So we are closing in on 7.5 minutes in this 3rd quarter.
And on that one, it was 64, Joey Allgood, the All-Stater. There was the one that had a little bit of a pull, pin and pull, counter block, if you will, 64 with the big-time block. So you don't get those yards unless the big fellas up front are doing their job.
Barry Salvo's offense averages about 20 1st downs a game, so they're halfway to that mark. 1st and 10 now from the 29. Farrell again, up the middle, through tacklers, and gets inside the red zone for the first time. He punched one in earlier from inside the red zone. First time he's been able to get him there.
Well, we see Joey Allgood. We talked about in the last play. Watch 64 right there. ISO on him. Look at that kickout block. Kaboom. He puts a hit right there to spring it on Zach Laird. And 64 was the man that made that play. Joey Allgood.
To run these offenses that we've seen in the 1st and 2nd games, it's artistry, it's poetry, it's timing, it's rhythm. It's all there. And you can see it on every play. Pitch this time. Kettman back in the game for the first time in about 4 or 5 plays. He gets maybe a yard or 2, but good to see he's capable of getting back on the field. Keep an eye on him, though.
Long time of possession drive right here for Wilmington. Ball control, keeping Athens offense on the boundary, taking a lot of time on the snap clock.
Wilmington had the ball first in their semifinal to open the second half, and they went on an 11-minute drive against Baroa Forsyth to put it away. Right now, this is the 12th play of the drive, and we're 6 minutes into a long drive once again. Here's Farrell, cuts back the other way. He's loose. Can he get to the outside? Inside the 5 and driven out of bounds by Schnapp. And another first down pickup for Wilmington.
Are you kidding me? He stopped. No, he's not. He took that hit, bounced it to the inside, and bounced it back outside 14 yards as he's starting to pile them up. He is a big-time downhill runner. Oh, so strong at 5'11", just a junior.
15 carries, 92 yards for him. Farrell has been every bit as good as advertised. And he'll cross the 100-yard mark, presumably.
29 visits to the house coming into this football game. What will be his next?
Play clock winding down. Did they get it off? They did not. That is a big penalty. It's instead of 1st and 3.
Delay a game on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It'll be 1st and 8.
And that's a play. Sometimes you want to save your timeouts. That one I think you want to use, quite honestly, because now you're at the 8-yard line. You're in a score situation to go up to go up 2 scores. Interesting that they decide to play 1st and 8, but no matter what, Cade McCubbin, who is an absolute great game manager, had a little bit more clock awareness on that particular play.
Counter that was because it's 1st down as opposed to, say, deeper in the down count. They get inside the 4 with Farrell. And so that'll bring up 2nd down and goal from the 4, but the clock keeps running. So again, the clock is your friend at this point. So maybe the timeouts have that value later. But you're right, there is an interesting element to that for Jeff Reeds and company. See, look how long they're taking to have this conversation about what the play call is, and they're looking at the play clock. You can see these play clocks at the 2A, 3A level. You don't always have access to a visual play clock here in the state of Illinois. So it's a luxury today. Farrell again, right up the middle and stopped. They gets to the 3. Again, with a kicking unit, you're guaranteed more than likely points.
But
either way,
they were 1st and goal at the 3 before that penalty. So they definitely want to get this one into the end zone, not settle for a kick.
And they've been able to take 2 minutes off the clock additionally, just by adding the extra yardage. So Athens, as you see the play clocks where they are above the tents on the far right side. 3rd down, pitch, Farrell to the goal line. He is short, and they will mark him at the 1.
And now it's decision time. Jeff Reeds, yes, he's got a decision.
I think you go for it.
I do too. You got a 99-yard field. You want to create some separation.
They're going to leave him on the field, so here comes the offense.
Game situation.
This has been an 8-minute drive for Wilmington that could change the course of the entirety of this state championship game. McCubbin under center on 4th and goal for the 1. He'll keep it. And does he get enough of a push? No signal. Still no signal. Finally a signal. Touchdown, Wilmington. It took a long time to sort it out, but Cade McCubbin gets in, hobbling a bit as he gets up. And the 1-yard touchdown plunge puts Wilmington with a 2-score lead.
Well, we talked about McCubbin managing the game oh so well. Penalty marker down late with nobody has sorted out quite yet.
It's going to be a sideline warning on Athens. Let's watch it again.
Watch McCubbin. He's about 1.5 yards back. And he just keeps driving those legs. Remember, it's the football that needs to break the plane. It doesn't matter where the player is at once the ball breaks the plane, as long as the knee is not down.
Kyle Farrell with a little bit of the old tush-push from the backside. I think the traditionalists are ready to watch that go away. And they'll try for the extra point.
Ryan Knox not real happy on the sideline about that spot/touchdown call.
That was a tough drive for him to watch. Low snap. The kick is on the way, and it is good. So with 3:33 remaining in our third quarter, Wilmington putting it all on the table. 16 plays, 8.5 minutes. 61-yard drive to pay dirt. McCubbin plunges in for the score. Timeout.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
Hiring Chicago's IBEW Local 134 electricians and the electrical contractors of Chicago and Cook County are the choice for your renewable energy needs. All of our professionals undergo extensive training, emphasizing the latest EV, energy storage, and solar solutions, which sets us apart from any competition. Take the uncertainty out of your transition to renewables and let Powering Chicago deliver the next generation of clean energy to you.
Wilmington now with a 14-3 lead in our third quarter, as we are about 3.5 minutes left in this third quarter. 16 plays, 61 yards. The time of possession overall for quite a bit. They grabbed the possession, I should say, at 11:56 because of the kickoff, and then they ran it all the way down there. So you're talking about 8:23 on the time of possession. Boy, that was vintage Wilmington football right there.
Total domination. They had to go to fourth down 2 times. They converted on 2 fourth-down situations, which were huge. And you go back to one of the first plays in the drive, there was an opportunity for an interception. Cameron Biggert didn't finish the deal. Wilmington kept the football. Would have been their 3rd consecutive turnover. Instead, they end up marching down the field with that punishing ground game and putting their 2nd touchdown up on the big board.
As a pivotal moment for the Athens defense that stayed on the field now for the next 15 plays after that. What kind of offense and what kind of, because again, these are a lot of guys that go both ways. So in terms of freshness, they've been taking some punishment, and now they'll have to go on offense and try and convert. Reed Juster will do the honors. A low squibber. It will be picked up at the 12-yard line. Schnatt on the return. Run back, drilled at the 28-yard line. Sent to the turf, and Athens will start there when we come back. So Wilmington with a 14-3 lead. We'll see if the Athens Warriors can respond. This is the 2A state championship game.
When you plant Wyffels hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Every day, Union Concrete contractors are fueling a foundation that lets our city stand tall. They bring the tools, training, and know-how required to bring your commercial projects in on time and with the highest levels of safety. Visit concreteil.com today to browse Northern Illinois' top union contractors specializing in commercial concrete and find the contractors you need to get your job done right.
Every year, you have a choice. One that says staying independent and family-owned means something on your farm. So plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
So the poll's going to be wide.
Athens trying to hang around here with Wilmington, a 14-3 lead. The Athens Warriors on the big stage. This is the first time they've been in a state championship game in 100 years in any of their sports. And of course, Athens football has been around for maybe 15 years. Here's some basketball clips. We found some newspaper clippings because Athens played in the basketball state championship back in 1924 against the Elgin Maroons, and they lost that game by a whopping score of 28-17. Back then, 1924. That was
big time score.
That's big time score right there. I mean, Elgin raced out to a 9-1 lead, but foul trouble cost Athens and starred John Salinas. John Bukowski, 5'10" junior. He was an all-tournament selection for that one. And a big-time run on first down. He snapped one to the sideline. And so Jared Schnapp flips the field for Athens. But let me tie a bow on this for you here, Coach, because admission to that state championship game, 50 cents.
50 cents to get in?
Down in Champaign. They started that game at 8:30 p.m., on a Saturday night in March. But Athens' enrollment was 164. They have doubled that now to 322.
Oh, my goodness.
In 100 years.
And I'd like to pay 50 cents to get in somewhere.
27 yards on that run, but they played Elgin, 1,000 kids against 164. That was one-class basketball back then. That was a big deal, and that was considered an upset by Elgin beating Athens. And H.V. Porter, if you know March Madness in this state, you know H.V. Porter created the original March Madness phrase.
He certainly did, and that's one that has stuck not just in Illinois with the Illinois High School Association being the original, but obviously copied in a national scheme here in our country.
H.V. Porter was the principal, he was the coach, and then he went on to do work with the IHSA after his stop in Athens, and so, of course, his legacy will lead on. He led the Warriors to a fourth-place finish 2 years later, 36 wins that season. So they had some winning basketball back then, but those trophies have been few and far between since.
And they got a rally right here to get the bigger trophy here this afternoon. Had one big pickup, an explosive play. Got the ball on the positive 42-yard line now with some work to go. Plenty of time to go in this football game for a two-score game.
A team that says they're willing to throw it here, going against the wind is not ideal, but in about 2 minutes, that's going to change for them as they flip ends. But a big third down, no less, coming up for Cushman and company. They fake the throw and pressure right up the middle, and he's stuffed. He never saw it from behind him. Brendan Moran came running in. And I don't know if they were setting up a screen, but he came in with free rein and never stopped.
Brendan Moran unaccounted for on that particular play. They went play action. There's the play action. Moran untouched. Really good individual play, but quite honestly, an easy play to make. A breakdown in the blocking scheme of the Athens Warriors.
So Moran ends the threat. Athens will have to punt with Cushman standing on his own 40. Gets the punt away, took a look for a minute, and it's caught by Farrell at the 20, and a return of maybe 6 or 7 yards. Caleb Craig on the stop. And Carson Mueller as well, the 6'2" senior. Haven't said his name yet. He was in on that tackle, running down as the outside man. 1:12 left here in this third quarter.
We talked about Jeff Reentz and his 30 years. How about Barry Southall and Bob Bosler? They've all been together, coaching together for 30 years. And you and I both know how important that stability is in a coaching staff when your staff basically can think for each other and anticipate what each other is going to do and have the confidence to sometimes disagree to bring up good options.
Barry had a son, Mason, who was a pretty good quarterback on that 2014 state championship team as well for Wilmington. Leading the drive that set the table for Jordan Saar's game-winning kick at the horn. And we talked about it off the air before the game, that Wilmington 2014, has there ever been a walk-off in regulation here in an Illinois state championship game? That may be the only one.
Amazing finish that was. Of course, Coach Reentz won it in 2003. Then that 2014 walk-off that you just alluded to.
Here's Farrell on second down as he comes from that left wing set. Over 100 yards on the day now for Farrell.
Becoming a workhorse, and he's used to carrying it 25, 28 times a game. And some of these numbers are skewed because, you know, Farrell only plays oftentimes like 3/4 of a game before their team, when their team has such a big lead. They're going to let this clock run out, and why not? with a 2-score lead going into quarter number 4.
So Wilmington has outgained Athens on the ground 2-1, 161 to 81, and the score essentially reflects that right now. The Wildcats have survived 2 turnovers to hold on to an 11-point lead as we head into the 4th quarter of our Class 2A state championship game from Normal.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $1.99. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
Hiring Chicago's IBEW Local 134 electricians and the electrical contractors of Chicago and Cook County are the choice for your renewable energy needs. All of our professionals undergo extensive training, emphasizing the latest EV, energy storage, and solar solutions, which sets us apart from any competition. Take the uncertainty out of your transition to renewables and let Powering Chicago deliver the next generation of clean energy to you.
Wait, stop scrolling. I'm here to help.
For what?
The ACA Health Insurance Marketplace open enrollment is here. You can find a health plan that works for you and your family, or change your current plan. Through getcoveredillinois.gov, certified local navigators like myself can help you enroll and find out if you qualify for financial help.
I really need to do that.
That's why I'm here. Don't change that profile pic. You look great. Open enrollment ends January 15th.
Tomorrow, I'll be making a difference in the classroom. Tonight, I'll be making memories with the dance team.
I'm expressing myself with my poetry and with my hands.
I'm providing for my patients and for my community.
At NIU, you'll go places as unique as you, with the resources and support to get you there. Join us and start writing your story today.
Feels good to be home. Ashley's Black Friday sale continues this weekend. Friday through Monday, shop limited time doorbusters starting at $1.99. Plus, get 25% off store-wide on qualifying purchases. The best Black Friday furniture deals are only at Ashley.
They'll try McWilliams. Yards and more. It is now a foot race. Cox chasing McWilliams. He's gone. Alex slowly on return. Salome will break free. Salome still on his feet. Salome!
One of the most exciting state championship games I can remember in recent history was that Class 3A matchup between Wilmington and Williamsville. And, of course, that was 9 years ago. But, and you heard Dave Bernhardt on the call. He'll have our 2 games this evening. But that was an absolute thriller in that 4th quarter with Wilmington getting some big-time plays and then winning it with a walk-off field goal, as we mentioned with Jordan Sarr at the kick.
Unbelievable 4th quarter. A couple of explosive plays. They came oh so close in 2003. Just couldn't finish it in that championship game. But 14 got the big ring.
Here's Farrell on the carry as we open the 4th quarter. A flag comes in, and we'll see what that's about. But in the interim, as we look back on Wilmington in terms of their progress, there were so many oh-so-close seasons where they went undefeated in the regular season, then got tripped up in the quarters or got tripped up in the semifinals. And they finally broke through the state championship game, didn't quite get that done. And for them to actually add their status as a state power.
10-yard pass. Replay. Third down.
The 10 yards in that. But to add to their status as a state power, they had to do it in the most exciting fashion possible, as something that was a sigh of relief for everybody in Wilmington, for sure.
Well, and they play such good football in Wilmington. They have such great tradition in Wilmington. And they also, play really good 2A, 3A competition. Used to be 3A competition. That Joliet, Grundy County area flat out knows how to ball.
Bob Bolzer, the special teams coach. You mentioned Barry Southwood, the offensive coordinator. And, of course, Coach Reentz, Jeff Reentz, the head coach. They've all been together for 30 years, and they often have talked about the fact that they're there together all the time. Farrell on the keeper to the outside. He'll turn the corner, and he's going to be all by himself heading down the sidelines. A foot race to the finish, and he will get there 78 yards for Kyle Farrell. Wilmington in firm control of this one. A 20-3 lead.
Farrell all the way in deep into the end zone, and his teammates there to greet him.
The fourth quarter touchdown brought to you by Delta Dental. Find a Delta plan that fits you at deltadental.il.com. The misdirection, they finally get him to the outside, and he is off to the races.
Cole Halsey, the number one, the only guy that really had a chance at him, but once Farrell got to the boundary, it was a sprint down the sideline, and he makes a house call of 78 yards. And a little bit of separation right now for Wilmington right on cue.
Juster will add the extra point. Snap is a little bit high, but the kick is just fine. Goes into the wind, no problem. And we take a timeout with Kyle Farrell, the longest run we've seen all day long. Beautiful play design, and it's all him. It's all purple. Wilmington, 21-3.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
High school.
Wilmington with a 21-3 lead thanks to Kyle Farrell in the 78-yard touchdown run. He's got 21 carries and 182 yards for that, plus that touchdown. And the All-Stater feeling good about the fact that they are on the verge of another state championship, their second in 3 years. And you can see the excitement on that sideline for Wilmington in the opening minute of this fourth quarter.
That young man has over 2,250 yards now on the season. Not a bad year. And that one may be the most explosive in regards to game situation. He created an awful lot of separation with that touchdown run, putting them up 21-3. He just is a flat-out football player in every sense. He'll play baseball in the spring, but I don't think he's worried about that right now. He's worried about finishing a title and getting a ring.
Farrell, a junior, by the way. Kettman, a sophomore, which means there's a lot more work to be done possibly next year. But still, a quarter to play. That one died at the 16-yard line. They had to dive on it. And so Athens will start there. Not a great kick return. Let's watch this touchdown again. There's a lot of action up front.
Well, there certainly was. It takes a blocking scheme to get it done. You see Farrell lined up, and you'll see the snap go to him as he goes into motion. A little bit of a fake handoff. And we always talk about the defense keeping their eyes. Everybody went with the first fake. The entire defensive line of Athens in white shirts. And once Farrell got to the boundary, it was all over. So good sleight of hands in the backfield right there, led by Cade McCubbin.
His longest run of the year is 80 yards, so he was too shy of that. And Athens will have to do a lot of aggressive play calling here in these next few minutes to at least stay in this game. And they get to the 18-yard line. Boy, usually when you win the turnover battle, you win the ball game, but that has not happened today for Athens, who's had 2 fumble recoveries and nearly an interception on the opening drive of this third quarter. And it would have been a different game had they been able to convert on those, but they did not.
Yeah, you want to parlay turnovers into points. They were not able to do that. And yeah, probably the two biggest play of this game so far. One, that 78-yard run, and 2, the interception that didn't happen that led Wilmington their second touchdown.
Fake the pitch, they'll throw it, and looking downfield, and Athens coaching staff wants a penalty. They're not going to get it. That was Zach Laird that was running free for a moment.
It kept him a 9 against Laird, 9 on that one-on-one wheel route. Just a bit overthrown. Athens staff thinks he maybe was held.
Seen a full game of passing that has resulted in 0 for 3. So not much in terms of passing. It has not been a surprise. We will see a very different set of offenses coming up in our Class 3A game between Mount Carmel and Byron. Blitz coming, pressure with Cushman trying to escape, and he will turn the corner and get thrown out of bounds close to the original line of scrimmage. And they will mark it at the 17-yard line.
That's Swisher on the tackle, but there's a flag where it normally would be a holding situation at about the 12-yard line. So they would decline this and make him be 4th and 12, I would think, or 4th and 11.
The penalty is declined. Result of the play, 4th down.
So they do decline the penalty, and they will take it 4th and 12, and presumably probably too early to go for it in regardless circumstances, but in the right situation, maybe Drew Cushman takes a gamble. Well, we'll see here as he is in shotgun now. 2 receivers to the far side. They flip the formation with Zach Laird coming over. This might be a situation where they throw it, and they get him behind the line of scrimmage all the way back at the 2-yard line. You'd wondered if maybe a quick kick would be coming, but as he looked to throw, he got closer and closer to the end zone. So now Wilmington will take over at the Athens 2-yard line.
And I think it was Farrell who just made the big play on offense and makes it on defense. He comes in with 56 total tackles. He has been the man offensively and now defensively. Watch for number 8 come into your screen, chase him down from the backside, wrap him up, get him around his shoulders, and drag him down and knock it to the goal line. Wilmington, you call this a short field, Matt?
This is what a short field looks like. Yes, very good. So Wilmington will take over at the Athens 2-yard line and presumably punch it in to put this thing far out of reach. Farrell on the left side. McCubbin under center. It's Farrell. Up the gut. No, and a whistle first before all of that. So yes, he did get to the end zone. Will it count? Probably not.
Farrell has been everything that advertised and much more.
Prior to the snap, ball start on the offense, number 3. 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
You know, he's been complimented by both coaches in terms of the way he runs the football and just the fact that he's got a lot of good vision out there.
Yeah.
And that's really hard in this kind of offense to have vision because you're supposed to essentially follow the blockers because of the way the scheme's set up.
Yeah, he's just a football player. 5'8" or 5'11", 185.
Here's Farrell inside the 5. And he's going to cross. He's going to get close to the 190 mark. He won't cross the 200 mark yet. Maybe he will, maybe he won't.
You know, Edgy Tim, our recruiting guru, I'd like to know what Edgy thinks of Kyle Farrell, because are people going to say he's too small at 5'11", at 185? I don't think so. You know why? Because he just plays the game. He's a football player, and it doesn't matter his size. He plays way bigger than a 5'11", 185 frame, and he'll probably top out, actually, at 6 foot, 190, 195.
He's got another year to go.
Yes, exactly, just a junior.
But also, you know, if you want me to weigh in on recruiting, it looks like the kind of guy I'd like to see on the other side of the ball at the next level.
Yeah, we just saw that.
So here's Farrell, shuffle motion. He gets it right up the gut, around a blocker, and stuffed and sent back. And they'll end that one at the 4-yard line, maybe the 3 in terms of his forward progress. Regardless of how long this takes to either get points on the board or not, it's eating clock away,
and
that's fine
game
with them.
Time of possession been huge all day long for Wilmington.
Yeah, it has been dominant for Wilmington. They'll open the drive, open this second half with an 8.5-minute drive. Has kept the Athens offense off the field quite a bit. McCubbin under center on 3rd and goal. Towards the goal line, it's Castle who gets in for the touchdown. Jake Castle, his 6th score of the year, and the senior punches it in to put away the state championship game for Wilmington.
Boy, just a little pitch. Everybody in the ballpark thinking, okay, Farrell, maybe Anderson at fullback. But no, they go to Castle on the pitch, and he goes in almost untouched. And Wilmington rolling right now with a big fourth quarter.
Fourth quarter touchdown brought to you by Delta Dental. Find a dental plan that fits you at deltadental@il.com. So Juster will come on for the PAT. And the kick is good. And so Wilmington has gotten into the red zone 3 times. Absolutely perfect from the red zone 3 times. Wilmington en route to state championship number 3. 28-3 our score in the 4th.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-800-335-8215.
Have a cough, sore throat, or fever, or need care now for pink eye, a urinary tract infection, or a rash? OSF On-Call Urgent Care is here to treat you. Get care in person, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. every day, even holidays, and walk out with a prescription for your care if needed. Make a reservation today or start a virtual visit 24/7. It's just that easy. Find a location near you. osfoncall.org/urgent care.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by LiUNA. Start your career in construction today at liunacareers.org.
This is what it looks like when you enter Becker Field in Wilmington to start a playoff game. It's quite the entrance. So they come out of the woods. They got a little smoke there. You got the motorcycles. And it's quite the environment at Wilmington. There is nothing quite like a playoff game. Saturday evenings in the fall, in November. You know you're in a big game when you're at Becker Field because there's no track there. Yeah, there's a track and a soccer field. That's on the other side of the complex. The football stadium, you are right on top of the players, and it feels on top of you. It's a tough environment.
One of the best team entrances in the state of Illinois, if not the entire country. When you got that rumbling going on, the whole place goes electric.
Wilmington has supported their football program for a long, long time, but as their success has continued to grow, the entrance has continued to get bigger.
It's a thing to do.
Yeah. Hey, you got a motorcycle? It could use you. Saturday, 6 o'clock in November. Bring friends.
And you can count on it because they're always in the playoffs.
Always there. Absolutely. Little short kick from Juster. Taken at the 35, and Upback takes it. And a nasty hit. I think that was Talon Diagiovanna, 5'6" freshman that took that kick.
Got a brother on the team, Hunter, who wins their War Dog Award all the time, or consistently, DiGiovanna's.
Yeah, the hardworking DiGiovannas have been talked about ad nauseum this week in terms of how hard they work and how valuable they are to the team. But value for Athens right now would be some offensive plays. Just 8 plays of offense here in the second half, 45 yards. Wilmington has tripled that number on both of those statistics, I should say. Schnapp in motion, and carry now as Athens gives it to Begard, and they move forward to about the 46-yard line.
Begard hasn't had that big explosive play that we thought he had. Wilmington front 8 basically keying on him. A good cut back there for first down and 3, and that's where they needed to be. Second down and 3, that's where they need to be all afternoon, and they haven't been. They've been behind the sticks. They've been 7 and 8 yards to go after short first down pickups for the most part.
Sometimes it's scheme, and maybe credit Wilmington for being able to keep him out of the end zone and out of really, impacting things offensively. Begard with 295 yards on the ground last week in the semifinal. Tonight, it's a very different story for Begard. Just 7 carries, 8 yards for the day, and that's a credit to the Wilmington defense for keying on him and stopping him.
Yeah, and Joey Allgood right there stepped up right in his gap. Big number 64 for Wilmington, who's had his presence felt in the offensive line and making tackles, playing both ways here for the Purple.
Cushman gives, and again, trying to find the football is fun this stage of the game. They got close to the sticks, and they give them the first down. It's Farrell in on the stop.
Always like the sportsmanship we see. Farrell comes in and makes a stop. Begard slaps him on the helmet in a positive way. It says, good play. Got right back up and goes to huddle. What a great competitor he is. Cameron Begard, only 5'7", but he plays so big.
Certainly some mutual respect for the Sacramento Conference because of what Moreau Forsyth tried to do last week and beat Wilmington, what Williamsville has tried to do in the state championship game in years past. And so now Athens gets their shot. And the other thing that is interesting for Athens this week, and, Ryan Knox talked about it, there have been a lot of their conference colleagues that have been in the stage, been on television. We've talked about them and about the great players. And now it's Athens that got to have their moment. And the moment hasn't gone as well as they had hoped. But to have that moment's a big thing for the community and for those kids coming up, those young kids seeing that, yes, you can get to the state stage. Here we are showcasing them.
Yeah, it's their time to shine. And you talk about conference affiliations. Conferences are all so tight. You know that those other coaches, from the different schools that have been here, done that, have been here trying to help them.
Here's the halfback pass. Craig will let it go, and it's knocked away at the last second. A little bit of contact as well. Fans do not like it. Carson Mueller was racing down that right sideline. He had a catch for 50 yards in the quarterfinal game against Nashville. Hadn't had an impact today.
Ryan Ketton with the nice pass breakup, running toward the football. He basically was playing center field, saw the ball in the air, went to the spot the ball was going to be to, and gets his hand up at the last second. Watch, 9 will come into your screen very, very late, right there, knocking that ball down. Really solid play. Help over the top as they know they can play a little bit deeper on pass defense right now.
Hunter Osipavicius, the junior, on the coverage in that one. Cushman will throw. Pressure coming from the backside. And he'll let it fly down the sideline and nearly picked off by Juster. He had stopped and turned, but went right through his hands. That's a pretty good throw to make. Only one place to put it.
He showed some good arm strength.
Yeah.
How about Juster? We talked about he's a punter. He's a field goal kicker. He does kickoffs. He plays offense. We just saw him on defense. He plays basketball. He plays baseball. Does the guy not sleep?
It's a high school athlete right there who hasn't come off the field at all.
Oh, my goodness. 6'2", 195, senior, National Honor Society member. So he's got time to study doing all that stuff.
So Monday, he'll be in practice. A lot of these kids, and whether it's football or what have you, in the weight room Monday, 6 a.m. somewhere.
Hey, if you want to stay title, you get a day off. Come on.
That's Sunday. So a timeout. Athens will take the timeout here and show you the schedule, because we have 2 more to go today and a big day tomorrow as well. The recap: Lena Winslow was shut out for the first time since 2007. That was Forston that did that in week 3. It hadn't happened since until today. Camp Point Central ending a 32-game winning streak and a 19-game playoff win streak to win a state championship for the first time in school history. Our game right now will be followed by Mount Carmel and Byron. Mount Carmel Aces and the Byron Tigers, the Big Northern Conference. Rochester will take the field at 4 o'clock, or rather at 7 o'clock, taking on St. Lawrence. And the Vikings making their first appearance since the 1970s.
And we've seen some running games from these 2 ball clubs. Byron will do the same. They'll be in a double wing trying to run the football. Mount Carmel, they'll put it up a bit in that
put it up a few times.
Yeah, and then that high-powered offense that they have.
From a television standpoint, this is the insider type stuff. we have commercials. We got to run them. They'll have plenty of time to run them in the third game of our day. We have not had so much because we've had really long drives. Cushman to throw, deflected, and it looked like it was it Zach Olin who got a hand on it, and that was fourth down. And we've had long drives that we've mentioned too. Time for the Menards play of the game. Save big money on all your home improvement needs with Menards. We've had some long drives, but how about a long run as well, and a little bit of everything. See this is the almost interception, and that's a key play because it was going the wrong way in terms of how things could go for Athens, and then we've had Kyle Farrell find his way to the end zone for a big long run. This was a big long drive to open the second half, and it was a difference maker, and it really wore down Athens, and that was kind of where we felt like Athens was probably going to struggle to stay in this one.
Yeah, two huge plays. I mentioned it once before. I'll mention it again. The would-be interception that didn't happen because Wilmington took that right back down the field on that long drive, and it increased the score to 21-3. And then obviously the long touchdown, the exciting touchdown, the 78-yard touchdown by Kyle Farrell.
Which you called at halftime.
I did.
78 yards on the nose. See Cade McCubbin, who was a little bit gimpy in that sneak for a touchdown. He's still kind of limping around. This is the senior moment, though, where he's not coming off the field to put it away. They give to Anderson this time. Braden Anderson.
Ball carrier.
And so he gets a couple of yards.
Braden Anderson and his teammates right now. The game plan on 3rd and 7 or whatever is get 2 or 3 more first downs, take 20 seconds in between plays to get to the line of scrimmage. And basically they want this, in a perfect world, to be the last possession of the football game.
We know about his uncle Damian Anderson, a longtime Northwestern Wildcat, 4th player in NCAA history, Big Ten history, I should say, to rush for 2,000 yards. He was a Heisman finalist, if you remember that.
Yep.
But also hit Damian's son Drake, now at Arizona. So there's some running backs running the family. And there's a timeout on the field, I believe, that stopped the action. No delay game here. They pick the flag up. It'll be a 5-yard walk-off.
Prior to the snap.
Cade McCubbin.
On the offense. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
Cade McCubbin has been impeccable with his decision-making and his game management today. That one he missed by about a second, but he has really been the leader that they talked about that they need. He's the one that runs their offense. He's the one that makes decisions at the line of scrimmage. See him hobbling out there right now. He's about 90%. He's not coming off that field.
No, he is not. And part of the reason why Wilmington is in the position there is because their guards have been outstanding up front, creating holes, and there's been so much complimentary conversation about Joey Allgood and Zach Oland. And how about Andrew Dito, who's done just everything they've asked for? Here's Farrell on the carry and the pitch. Cuts back inside, and that'll bring up 4th down here. But Andrew Dito is a guy, he doesn't talk a lot. He's a great example of work ethic, how he carries himself, and the kids really look up to him. When coaches tell you that kids look up to you, you look up to this certain player, there's an element of leadership and quiet leadership that you have to respect and admire.
Yeah, special person he is, and he's the center of their offensive line, so he's the one that would direct and make some verbal calls up front as far as any kind of blocking scheme changes. So he has to have his eyes on the defensive line. He has to have his verbal communication skills raised to a point where his offensive line can make the adjustments in where they're blocking.
Timeout for Wilmington. Athens just 76 yards of offense. At least for Athens, they're 4 for 11 on 3rd down. In 2021, Nashville went 0 for 9 on 3rd down against this Wilmington defense.
Wilmington gets it done.
Time for the defensive player of the game. Brought to you by Union Carpenters and Contractors, partners in building communities and supporting working families. And for Athens, we thought for a minute that these two defensive plays could be really key, but they never really turned into points. Still, the defense was popping early, and they had talked about it at halftime. Ryan Knox talked about how they wanted to put the hat on the ball And they did. The first half came out and stayed right in this thing after 2 quarters of play.
Yeah, they got those turnovers, wouldn't parlay them into points, but some really solid hitting by this Athens defense, especially early on in this football game. Numerous plays that they made. How about Athens? Matt, they came here on July 10th, and they practiced here at ISU during the summer months.
Good idea.
And do you think that they talked about, we want to be here and we have the ability to be here? Absolutely. So that's really a nice thing that Ryan Knox did, is bring his team here. Obviously had to be set up properly, but when you start in July and you say, gentlemen, where would we like to be the day after Thanksgiving, it came to fruition.
Credit to the folks from U-High for setting it up too. But you want to start the season there, you can finish the season there as well. East St. Louis a chance to do that tomorrow in our 6A game as well. By the way, just to tie a bow on it, Braden Leathers, 18 tackles today, 14 solos. So he's had to do it himself on that defensive front for Athens.
Just fun to watch. 53 in the linebacking spot.
Juster's going to punt on 4th down and 5. Pressure came right up the gut, but he gets it away just fine. And it will trickle to a slow roll at the 20 and stop there with 3:16 remaining in this one. Yeah, they were here in July, as you mentioned. And none of this happens unless we have picture proof on social media, right? That's how it is nowadays. So there we are.
There we go.
So, yeah. Hey, we're here. We're starting the season here. Our hope is that we finish the season here.
What a nice visit it was. And I always tell our players, nothing happens unless first a dream.
Right.
So you have to have that mental imagery first. You have to imagine it going to happen and then make it happen.
You can't really pull the Hoosiers conversation, though, of 15 feet, 10 feet. I believe these are the exact same measurements unless you have a lot of measuring tape for 100 yards. It just doesn't equate in football the same way as it would with Normandale. There he goes. Look at the press box. Brand new renovations. Newish, I should say. That's how it would be listed in real estate terms. It's been a little bit, but wonderful facility. Happy to be back here for the first time in 25 years. 1998, the last time the state finals were here. And they were here for 25 years prior to that. As Cushman escapes a tackler and keeps it on the ground. First down, a little bit more. Can he get the outside? He had a block there for a minute. And driven out of bounds, Zach Laird punished him. Hitting him hard. Rather, Ryan Kettman, I should say, with the hard hit. 17 yards in the pickup, the longest run for him today.
Nice to be back at ISU. NIU was a great host. U of I, a great host.
Absolutely.
And ISU has done their excellent job so far today with 6 more games to go after this one.
Here's Craig running off to the left, right near the Redbird logo. See a lot of orange and black already filtering in, and plenty of maroon and gold for Mount Carmel. And then tomorrow we expect even bigger crowds, just with bigger enrollments. It'll be very curious to see the environments for those games.
Should be rocking.
Yeah. So 2nd down and 8 as we approach the final 2 minutes of this one. It is all Wilmington here in the second half. And that's partly why Athens has not been able to get the run game going, and they've had 2 on Begard the whole night.
Just another swallow-up kind of tackle by the front line of the Purple People Eaters, if you will.
Logan Van Dyne, the sophomore, on the stop. They've gone deeper in the bench now. See Ryan Nelson in, the junior for Wilmington. And it's the starters all the way to the end for Athens. Up the gut with Craig.
We saw 2 high-powered offenses in the title game of 1A get shut out, and a high-powered offense in the title game of 2A without a touchdown.
And a roar from the Wilmington sideline as they know it. Maybe one more snap on 4th down, though, so probably a little more than that. Let's see how it turns over. They pitch to the outside. It's Begard trying to cut back in, and he will be stopped right there. Wilmington will take over for one more play to clinch another state championship for the Wildcats.
You would think a kneel to a title coming up. What a second half it was for Wilmington.
255 yards. Nobody got any yards passing today. The Wildcats' legacy continues to grow. 2014, 2021, this will be their second title in 3 years. And in those two of the last three state title matchups, they've attempted one pass total.
Run for fun.
McCubbin takes a knee. And we'll see if they even spot the ball.
They want to let the play clock go. There we go. Good officiating.
There we go. We all know the end result. And that will do it. Wilmington celebrates another state championship, their fourth trophy. But their third state championship in school history. It's been a slow build for Jeff Reentz for a long time, 30 years coming. But another state championship in the books. Wilmington wins the 2A title by a final of 28-3.
Where they did it with defense, not allowing Athens into the end zone. They did it with offense, just enough of a running game to have a couple big plays involved. They turned the ball over twice late in the first half. Athens was not able to parlay that into points. Took great care of the football in half number 2 and leads them to a dominant win in a championship game.
Kyle Farrell with 24 carries on 192 yards. The 78-yard sprint down the sideline. The deciding run to pretty much end it. Any sort of threat. Cade McCubbin with a touchdown sneak for a touchdown on 4th down and goal from the 1. But it was that drive for 16 plays and 8.5 minutes that really wore down Athens, and then they slammed the door with that big run to open the 4th quarter. And a state championship once again for Wilmington.
Well, you control the clock like that and culminate it with a touchdown. It not only physically on the scoreboard increased that lead, but mentally it was a big pick-me-up for the Purple and put Athens back on its heels at that point.
Well, for Barry Southwell's offense, he needs one guy. He got a performance today. The player of the game brought to you by Country Financial. Find out why more than 1 million families let us protect their lives and livelihoods. Visit countryfinancial.com for more information. Kyle Farrell, shifty, the visionary, and he's been able to find his way out of holes and out of jams and sprint down the sideline right here for 78 yards to pay dirt. A picture says 1,000 words with the Wilmington Wildcats sideline jumping up and down. They knew he'd get to the end zone. And nearly 200 yards on the ground by himself. A big-time state championship game performance on the big stage for Kyle Farrell. Let's send it down to Casey.
Kyle, you make a house call, 78-yard touchdown. What were you telling yourself before this game?
You know, before the game, it was just all about team. And, you know, on that play, you know, just great blocks. And, you know, team, it's just all about team. And we really made some great blocks, and I was able to get out there and score. It was awesome.
Speaking of getting out there, how were you able to create separation to make those explosive plays?
I mean, the line just opened up great holes, and then our backs, Jake and Kat, they got and picked up guys, and they found spaces. But credits to them. They filled hard. They played really well. But, yeah, you know, we opened up holes and was able to slip out sometimes.
You head back to Wilmington with some hardware to add to your high school halls. What statement did your team make today?
You know, it's just great to get a win, and, you know, especially for our seniors, you know, they played really hard, and, you know, this is great for this community because they always show out, and the Athens community showed out too, and it's just feels really good to go home with some hardware.
Congratulations. Enjoy this one. Bring in Coach Reentz. Coach, big hug from Kyle. Coach, it seemed like your team just kept picking up some steam When were you most comfortable with this win?
Oh, you don't get comfortable till the end, I got to tell you. But we're real happy for our team, for our coaches. Defensively, I thought we played well all day. Offensively, it was kind of up and down. Huge play by Kyle, obviously, on the one play to get us to touchdown. But real happy with, obviously, kind of tough to put into words right now. You're just so happy for your community, for your school. Glad to represent our conference the way we did. But hats off to Athens. Great opponent. They have nothing to hold their head on or hold their head down on. I thought those guys played us tough tooth and nail.
You lose once to open up in the first game of the season. You win the rest of the way through. What does that say about your team's perseverance throughout the season? Yeah,
I know it does. It does say a lot. We took them from point A, the first game of the year, and then we took them to where we're at now. Real happy with how we handled ourselves during the season, but even more proud in the postseason. We had a run there where we went through 3 or 4 games going against great teams, including this one here, that we were able to come out on top. So just real happy from that standpoint, particularly in the playoffs.
Coach, enjoy this one. Congratulations. Thanks for the time.
All right, thanks, guys.
Matt, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Casey, and 4 unbeaten teams in a row. That's who Wilmington had to beat to get state title number 3. The trophy presentation coming up next here from Normal.
The IHSA Football State Championships are being brought to you in part by Menards, SIU Carbondale, and by Mid-America Carpenters Regional Council.
Imagine going from the classroom to the big stage.
This territory, this place, our home, isn't just for learning, but for understanding the very power of what imagination actually means.
A place where you can go from player to coach, from the ground to the sky.
So close your eyes, envision the roar that is a spirit of thousands of Salukis. Capture this moment and go forward together.
I'm attorney Howard Ankin. I'm proud to be a 1990 graduate of the University of Illinois. And today, I'm one of the largest filers of workers' compensation cases throughout the state. From Champaign to Chicago and everywhere in between, I'm helping people with auto accidents, work injuries, slip and fall cases, medical malpractice, and any other type of injury accident-related matter. Let me see what I can do for you. Call me at 312-6-million. Injury law made personal, that's Ankin Law.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big and small. Now's the perfect time to hurry in and get these amazing stocking stuffers and other fantastic gifts. Menards Black Friday deals are so great that even Santa himself can't resist.
4 seasons greetings to you all from Menards.
Want a great career? Join the Carpenters Union and be part of the next generation building our communities. With the Carpenters Union Career Connections program, high school students get a head start on the industry's leading curriculum. Learn the latest in construction technology and the many skilled crafts the Carpenters Union represents. Plus, earn as you learn. Receive a nice paycheck, health insurance benefits, and best of all, no college debt. Ask your school district to participate in the Career Connections program and get started on your future.
The Wilmington Wildcats are state champions in 2023, defeating Athens by a final of 28-3, and time for the trophy presentation.
Mike Castleman from Olympia, Dwayne Bates of Glenbard East, Tom Shergan of Chicago De La Salle, Katie Hassan of Rockridge, and Dan Tully of Niles Notre Dame. Finishing the season in second place, the Athens Warriors. Representing the Warriors, our Superintendent Scott Laird, Principal Matt Rhodes, Athletic Director and Head Coach Ryan Knox, and the Warriors captain.
Test, 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 test.
And at this time, we will present the second place trophy to the Athens Warriors, who finished the season with a final record of 11 wins and 3 losses. Congratulations to the Warriors. Finishing the season as state champions, the Wilmington Wildcats. Individual awards will be presented to Superintendent Kevin Feeney, Principal Scott Maupin.
Thank you very much.
Athletic Director Brian Goff. Head Coach Jeff Reentz. And the Wildcats captains. At this time, we will present the Class 2A championship trophy to the Wilmington Wildcats, who finished the season with a final record of 13 wins and 1 loss. Congratulations to the Wildcats.
– 2014, 2021, and 2023. The Wilmington Wildcats win a state championship in a game that featured the fewest yards ever in passing in a state championship game.
How many yards was that?
0. We didn't see a single yard from passing in any state championship game. We've never seen it in 2A. We haven't seen it really. We've seen it in 5A once, but it's few and far between. Usually there's a little bit of passing, but Wilmington's offense dominant on the ground. Kyle Farrell, about 200 yards rushing, and that big 78-yarder to clinch it.
Just an outstanding game, all 3 phases by Wilmington, a worthy state champion. Great run by Athens, their first time, and they represent themselves well. What a great football morning it was, with much more to come.
A lot of good defense and a lot of rushing attacks, and now we open it up a little bit as we get Mount Carmel and Byron coming your way. We will send it to our studio, thanks to our folks here on site here at Normal and Hancock Stadium and the Illinois State University for our crew. Shift change coming. We'll send it over to Darius and to Tim.
Thank you, Matt. Matt and Mark are done for the day. They did a great job out there at Hancock Stadium. No passing yards in that game, but when you can run for 254, why throw the ball?
Yeah, well, we knew that going in, you know, but stay tuned, passing fans. It's coming. We're going to have something for you. But again, tale of 2 halves. It really was. You know, you talk about a team in Wilmington that just made the corrections, made the adjustments, and they rolled, and they're holding the trophy. So congrats to them.
Yeah, when you dominate a single possession in the third quarter, that kind of can take the air out of a little bit for that other team. They pull away for a 28-3 win here. You know, Wilmington had a scare in the quarterfinals, against Seneca, having to win in OT. They gave up just 10 points the rest of the way here. We got a lot more to come on this game itself, and of course the rest of the day coming up here in our state championships. We'll go through highlights and more analysis of this contest when we come back.
Wait, stop scrolling. I'm here to help.
For what?
The ACA Health Insurance Marketplace Open Enrollment is here. You can find a health plan that works for you and your family, or change your current plan. Through GetCoveredIllinois.gov, certified local navigators like myself can help you enroll and find out if you qualify for financial help.
I really need to do that.
That's why I'm here. Don't change that profile pic. You look great. Open enrollment ends January 5th.
Hiring Chicago's IBEW Local 134 electricians and the electrical contractors of Chicago and Cook County are the choice for your renewable energy needs. All of our professionals undergo extensive training, emphasizing the latest EV, energy storage, and solar solutions, which sets us apart from any competition. Take the uncertainty out of your transition to renewables and let Powering Chicago deliver the next generation of clean energy to you.
Attention! Do you live with chronic knee pain?
Is climbing the stairs, even standing up, frustrating and painful? Please note that knee replacement surgery is not your only option. A treatment is now available that is so effective, Medicare fully approved it, and it's not surgery. It's a lubricating gel that the highly trained doctors at the Joint Relief Institute gently place inside your knee, stimulating your body's ability to improve the cushioning inside the joint that you've lost over the years. We've treated over 20,000 patients, resulting in thousands of 5-star Google reviews.
People don't understand pain unless they really live with it. And the relief that these shots have given me is unbelievable.
I've received treatment and walked out pain-free. It was quite awesome.
Stop living in pain. Appointments are filling up fast, and the call is 100% free. Call today, 800-216-4294.
Welcome back to the IHSA TV network. There's Joshua here. Edgy Tim joining you here to take you through the 2A championship. Wilmington coming away with a 28-3 win in their 2A championship to win their 3rd ever state title. They dominated on the ground and they dominated defensively, Tim.
Yeah, they really did. And again, you just saw everything come together in the second half. That's not what happened in the first half. And again, I mean, I thought that Brendan Moran just was all over the place, and they kept sending him up the middle on a blitz, and he would come free. And Athens tried to get into the passing game going, but we talked about it. I don't think they ever had any time to get comfortable at all in the pocket whatsoever.
Yeah, I was
credit
shocked.
to Wilmington.
I was shocked Moran only had 5 tackles in this game, but we'll get more to that defense in a little bit. First, let's go through the highlights of this 3rd ever championship win for Wilmington as they come away with the win here. Here in the first quarter, Kyle Rettman getting the handoff, and he gets in. That breaks the scoreless tie we had. That makes it 7-0 Wilmington. Then midway through the second, the Athens defense coming up with a big stop. Kyle Farrell fumbles. Braden Leathers, one of his 18 tackles, forces a fumble there. It would still lead to a field goal, their only points of the day. Later on in the first half, another fumble. Corey Craig Jr. getting there, forcing that, and Blake Chernowski again with the recovery there. But here comes the 3rd quarter where Wilmington really comes away to dominate. Kyle Farrell breaking an outside run for 13 yards that sets up another QB sneak touchdown, 14-3 at that point. And then here comes the big carry. 78 yards on this one as he gets to the edge, and nobody going to catch up to him. 192 yards on the day for Farrell, 254 on the ground for Wilmington. They come away with a 28-3 win in this game. Let's go right to Kyle Farrell, the player of the game in this contest. He played both ways for Wilmington, but he really set the tone, had 52 yards on that big drive for them that set up their touchdown, where they nearly didn't have the drive kind of pick up there, but they run off 8 minutes to 23 seconds.
Yeah, I thought that was an absolute key in the ball game, no doubt about it. You just escape. I mean, Athens had it. They had their chances. You see the quarterback a little interrupted the arm motion. Unfortunately, in his hands and bounces out, and all of a sudden here comes Wilmington with their long drive and just kind of grinding. And this is what Wilmington does. This is Wilmington football in a nutshell right here. Again, you'll take the big plays when you get them. You'll take 4 or 5 yards of carry, and you'll move the clock and just march down the field. That's exactly what they did in this drive.
16 plays, 61 yards on the drive, 52 of those coming from Kyle Farrell, and it's topped off here by a QB sneak from Cade McCubbin. He gets into the end zone to make it 14-3 at that point. That was really what the separator in this game, made it 14-3 at that point. And the defense for Wilmington throughout dominated and did not let Athens get much time to play.
Yeah, if you're Athens, I mean, that's a deflating drive. It really is. I mean, you're still in the game, obviously, but, after that long drive, and you've got a lot of kids playing both ways as well, which we talked about. You talk about a fatiguing drive. That was one for sure. To me, that changed everything. That was everything. That changed momentum. Momentum definitely stayed on the Wilmington side and didn't leave for the entire second half.
Yeah, the Athens defense really kind of had control of that first half. They had the 2 forced turnovers, nearly had a third on that long drive. That would have certainly changed the game, but it was the Wilmington defense that took control. In a second, no one had the 18 tackles like Braden Leathers, but as a unit, they put their stamp on this game.
Yeah, they did, and that's how they play. That's Wilmington football. Fast, very physical, and just very, very impressive.
Guys like Brendan Moran, he had a big day there, had 5 sacks himself, 5 tackles as well in the game. Joey Allgood put his stamp on it. And you mentioned it earlier, really no time to breathe any time Athens tried to pass.
No, every time they try to drop back, they would have someone in their face every single attempt. So, again, hard to get anything done when you have that kind of pressure in your face.
You open up the third quarter with an 8-minute drive for Wilmington, and then Athens gives the ball right back on a 2-minute drive as they got a big stop there from Moran, and then that's on the next drive that set up their second touchdown for Jake Castle to get into the end zone to make it 28-3 at that point. They kind of put a chokehold on this game, and Wilmington coming away with their third ever championship for them as a school. But Athens, they get here for the first time. They get their showcase moment, just coming up a little short.
Yeah, you know, obviously if you're an Athens fan, you feel bad you wanted to win the game. But I tell you what, it was a pretty nice showing for the first time down here. They showed a lot, especially in that first half. Like I said, it was a momentum thing to me in the second half. First half, they hung. They showed they could belong. And for a relatively new program and the first time down here, I thought they had a good showing. Wouldn't be shocked to see them back down here sooner rather than later.
They had to wait 100 years for a team to play for a state title. I don't think they'll have to wait that long again after a showing like this here, getting here to this stage. Coming here undefeated, obviously picking up their first loss here in the state championship. So a 28-3 win for Wilmington, their third ever championship. They go 2014, 2021, and now in 2023. 2 more games to come today in the state championship. We got a lot more to come here on our post-game show coming up when we come back.
Prepare for the holidays with great Black Friday deals at Menards. We have the perfect gifts for your family and friends, or to help finish your projects, both big